For the first time ever, Shamrock Rovers meet Kerry FC in the semi-finals of the FAI Cup. So no apologies for using the most apt of cup cliches, because this truly is a David versus Goliath contest. You'd expect this Shamrock Rovers squad to take another big game in their stride. Many of these players are prolific league winners and now regularly face quality opposition in European competition. But surprisingly, the Hoops have only won the FAI Cup once since the turn of the century, and they're anxious to have another crack at it at the Aviva on November 9th. Standing in their way this evening, a club in its League of Ireland infancy, plying its trade in the First Division, but in the semi-final on merit, having staged one of the comebacks of the season when disposing of Sligo Rovers in the last round. Therefore, these players are familiar with what it takes to cause an upset, but their task this evening is greater this time around, facing the best team in the country on their own patch. Live from Tallaght Stadium, it's the second of this weekend's Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-finals. Shamrock Rovers against Kerry FC. Kick-off is at 6 o'clock. On Friday night at Turner's Cross, Cork City belied their league position and saved their best performance of the season for their cup semi-final win over Pats. So that really has whetted the appetite for this evening's semi-final between Shamrock Rovers and Kerry FC, whose presence at this stage of the competition has made sure the romance of the cup is still alive and kicking. Joining me in studio for this highly anticipated semi-final clash, Gareth McGlynn and Stuart Byrne. Lads, you're both very welcome. And first of all, Stuart, normally on these occasions we concentrate on the home team first and the cup record holders and the cup favourites. But on this occasion, for Kerry FC, it's so significant. Their achievement in getting here has to be acknowledged first of all, hasn't it?
I mean, it's an incredible achievement, especially when you consider the way and the style that they did it against Sligo, coming back from 3-0 down, looked like they were dead and buried. Just suddenly found something which tells you that there has to be some sort of belief in the team, I would presume instilled by their manager Colin Healy. But I think when you look at kind of League of Ireland at the moment and the sort of, it's on a bit of a crest of the wave, you know, in terms of interest and attendances and all that kind of thing. For Kerry, who have only been in the league 3 years now, and you'd have to imagine there's plenty of interest in a very, very big county.
Yeah.
I think it proves to the football club that these things are achievable, and they are actually achievable quite quickly. I know that might sound a little bit arrogant, a little bit overconfident, but when you do, you know, when you've been around this league for a long period of time, as myself and Gareth have, you have the wrinkles to show for it as well, but you can achieve things in a considerable period of time if you do things right, you know, and if you do your business right. And you'd like to think that a club like Kerry is certainly on the up, and this will only give them huge confidence to go on and to do better things as a football club. Yeah,
this will be a real fillip for the football club, won't it, Gareth? And you said before the programme you played with Billy, of course, Billy Dennehy, who's so much involved in the club, and you're not surprised at the development and the progress that they've made?
No, when you play with Billy was an unbelievable career, but he was very detailed, very organised, understood that the small steps that needed to be taken to achieve a bigger goal. And you can see that in Kerry already. The building blocks are there. I mean, we see it all the time. New owners come into a club, they throw a load of money at it, it goes on its face and it changes ownership. Billy, they've had loads of interest in the club, but they've selected John Wall as the investment that they brought into the club. And Billy has said that the other interested parties just didn't fit the values of the club. So they were very particular about that. Then you add the difficulty of keeping a League of Ireland club afloat. They have done incredible in 3 years, and they look very sustainable, which is important. And what went on, the Mount Hawk miracle, as they're describing it, in the quarter-final, it was incredible. Yeah. That will bring in fans. They will be lifetime fans now. So that will increase the interest. We're going to see a massive crowd here from Kerry. They're used to coming to Dublin for other sporting events, but to come now to Tallaght for a semi-final of an FAI Cup, Cup. It's just incredible, and it's all credit to John Wall, Billy Denny, and the other people involved in Kerry FC, because we know throughout the clubs in League of Ireland there's volunteers and there's loads of people to make something like this happen.
Yeah, and they're receiving great support right across the county from people who might have been into other codes of football in the past, but they're certainly supporting this team and getting behind them. And they've received magnificent coverage in the media down there this week, Stuart. Yeah. But there's no underestimating the task that awaits this Kerry team against Shamrock Rovers today.
No, I mean, you know, you have to be realistic as well. I think the occasion, let's hope they enjoy it. I'm sure Colin Healy will be telling us that, but it's going to be difficult for them. You know, I would have thought the week that's in it would have been difficult for them in terms of the interest at home. They wouldn't be used to this level of profile. By all means, apparently training went very well. But I do think that when they get out here, you know, in this stadium and they realise the magnitude of what's ahead of them. Look, I've no doubt about it that they will give it everything they have. Yeah. But it's important for them as well that they do have a game plan, that they do believe they can win. I think we're going to see maybe them trying to get to half time. Can we get to half time? Can we look at things? Because by all means, they seem to be a team that finish games extremely well. But there's a huge task ahead of them, absolutely huge task ahead of them. But they're here in merit, Peter, and they deserve to be where they are.
And one thing we know, they will be very well organised under Colin Healy. And right now we're going to get the all-important team news. Here's Tony.
Thanks, Peter. I think the word that Gareth was looking for there earlier was Gaelic football. And for Kerry people, they don't normally travel for semi-finals for Gaelic football, but they've travelled today for this semi-final. There's over 1,000 Kerry FC fans. And they laid on free buses as well, so that was credit to the club for that. And who knows, they could be enjoying their journey back down the M7 later on this evening. But Shamrock Rovers are going for the double, of course, and before kick-off tonight, they could even have their league title confirmed, depending on the game up in Derry, which should be over by the time we kick off. They had a big game in midweek against Sparta Prague. That didn't go so well for them, so they've made 5 changes, and the manager, Stephen Bradley, has been saying that this was the game that he was prioritising. So Ed McGinty stays in goal, and the usual back three of Lopez, O'Sullivan now and Cleary, because Lee Grace is still out. Adam Matthews comes in at wing back, and Josh Honan will be on the other side. And then the midfield box is impressive. Watts, Healy, Burke and Mandroyu, and that leaves 17-year-old Michael Noonan up front on his own, but he's a danger, as we know. So we're looking forward to his contribution today, and that of Shamrock Rovers, who are, as I say, going for a double. So they'll be trying to get to the Aviva Stadium on the 9th of November to take on Cork City. But so too will Kerry. It could be a Munster final, if you like. And after Colin Healy's team's success in the semi-final, they call that the Mount Hawk miracle. Well, we'll have to wait and see. He rested a number of players. He had that luxury. And Niall Brookwell comes back into defence. Daniel O'Connor got injured in the last game against Treaty, where players were rested, and he's on the bench. Carl Mujaguzi is back in midfield alongside Ronan Tehan and Oren Crowe. Daniel Okute got the winner against Sligo, that famous 4-3, and he's up front. Josh Adams, who also scored in that game, is on the other side with Rob Cleary in the middle. Interestingly, no Cian Brosnan. He got 2 of the goals against Sligo. He's on the bench. And Shawnee McGrath, who's their most capped player, if you like, the player with the most appearances, he came off the bench and scored against Treaty in the last game. Could he do the same this evening here in Tallaght? Now, that would be a fairy tale.
Certainly would, Tony. Thank you very much indeed. Stuart, first of all, no surprise that Stephen Bradley has made so many changes, because, as we know, he almost fielded an understrength side against Sparta Prague on Thursday. Yeah,
I think he's very keen on the double, to be quite honest, Peter. I think very, very much focused. I think they've been focused on it from the start, from the pre-season, to be quite honest with you. But the fact that they've made 5 changes, I mean, such is the significance of the Rovers squad that they can make 5 changes, and you look at the quality that's coming out and the quality that's going in. But very much revolves, for me anyway, around that sort of midfield box 4 with Dylan Watts, Graham Burke, Danny Mandrew, and he, like, you know, really that for me is the spine or the core of Rovers and how they play. You know, those quality players, and Mandrew and Burke in particular in the quarter-final against Drogheda were excellent.
Yeah. What about the Kerry side, Gareth? Collins had to shuffle his pack just a little bit for this one.
Yeah, but that's what he's been done really well over the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's had, I think there was one week there, they had 3 games in a week, and he rotated the front 4 quite a lot. Now, the big question was Shawnee McGrath, the captain, the talisman, came on last week, scored a wonder goal to get the winner. Was he going to start? Was he not going to start? He's probably not fit enough, especially this big pitch. The front 3 are going to have to work tirelessly to try and minimalise. Shamrock Rovers getting getting up the pitch and having so much of the ball and basically dictating the game. So they're going to probably think himself and Brosnan. Brosnan got the first against Sligo. He's on the bench as well.
Yeah.
That was the key goal in that game. When you're 3-0 down, it's always the first goal that gives you the belief to go on and try and get something out of the game. So he's probably thinking later down the line, as we said, it's going to have to be 45 minutes, 1 hour, stay in the game. Even if we're 1-0 down, being able to bring that sort of firepower. I mean, McGrath's got 7 goals and 3 assists this season already. He is the talisman, local man. He is the heartbeat of this team. So he will want to come on the pitch whenever it's still winnable or they're within the game.
Yeah, there's still something at stake, and he may very well make an appearance. Well, former Republic of Ireland international Colin Healy was appointed Kerry FC manager in May of this year, and I'm sure even he wasn't considering a cup semi-final at that stage. He's been talking to Tony.
Colin, it's the biggest game in Kerry's season and in the history of the club so far. So before we talk about the team, how did you manage that this week with the lads?
No, listen, it's just been a normal week for us. Listen, the players have done ever so well to get to the semi-final. It's been a good week training. The players are looking forward to it, and listen, we've got a big support coming up, so hopefully we can put on a good performance for them.
Earlier in the week you were talking to us and you said you were going to assess their strengths and weaknesses, and you hadn't seen any weaknesses yet, but they weren't to their best against Sparta Prague in midweek. Did you learn anything from that game?
No. Listen, I know what they have. I know what they have. They got a serious squad. They have. Probably the other night they probably weren't at their best. It happens, but I can see the team that they have tonight. They're a strong outfit. So we need to be ready for them.
From your own point of view, I mean, is it a question of trying to contain them early on, or what is the approach you're going to try and take to this match?
I know. Listen, as I said, we got a game plan. As I said, that we've got good players in our team that can cause them problems as well. So listen, we'll see how the game goes and we'll take it from there.
No Shawnee McGrath, even though he came off the bench and scored for you the last night?
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, listen, he's been very, very good, but he doesn't start tonight, but he'll be ready to come out at some stage. And
You've shown in the past resilience against that lone, and obviously that famous game against Sligo as well. You'll be playing right to the bitter end.
Absolutely, the players they've been fantastic in the cup. They've never given. They've gone to the last whistle, and they've been fantastic. They deserve to be here, and listen, hopefully that we can get to the final.
Best of luck to you tonight.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Gareth, I suppose it's no surprise that a team under Colin Healy's stewardship showed such character, demonstrated in spades really in that quarter-final comeback win over Sligo Rovers, 3-0 down, and to come back and win it 4-3 was one of the most remarkable comebacks of the Cup for a long, long time.
Yeah, you can hear him talking there. He's just so humble, so honest. I mean, he's given this club, this squad, huge belief. And you look at his experience, international experience, where he's played, the manager he's played under, and you can see the players, they're fearless. They have got an average age of 22, so it's one of the lowest average ages in both divisions. And you can see the players. What you get with that is bravery and fearlessness. You couple that with young players tend to make a few mistakes, and they did against Sligo, and we'll see them here conceding the goals in the first hour. But after that, they almost give Sligo too much respect. When they got after them, you can see here now in the VT, they caused them huge problems. This guy Daniel Akuti was outstanding on the night. He was unplayable. Hold up play. You can see here the finish with the left foot. He is a big part of what's going to happen here tonight. He's got to get the ball under control, get them high up the pitch, get free kicks, get corners, get throw-ins, and just give his defenders and his midfielders some time. Because we've seen as well in the other rounds, Brosnan scored a free kick into the top corner from 30 yards. They've got quality, but they just need to get up the pitch, get close enough to the goal to be able to create those moments of magic.
Yeah, and Stuart, how much of this Kerry team's performance will be down to how they handle the actual occasion? Because for most of these players, this is the biggest game of their careers so far.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's, the stereotypical thing is, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just ease your way into the game, all that kind of stuff, very important. But I would have thought, just to echo what Gareth was saying about Colin Healy, I just feel he has that sort of quiet, understated, he's a thinking man. He has that sort of positive effect on people, and I think he will certainly help his players to just kind of maybe just calm down in how he approaches his team talk, or how he's approached even yesterday, this morning, whatever the case may be. I've no doubt they've got a game plan, because you can't go into a game like this without a specific game plan. It all depends on whether that game plan comes off. But there's no doubt they've got players in the team, Akute, with pace. Pace is very, very difficult to defend against. Doesn't matter if you're Shamrock Rovers, if you've got somebody who's got real pace, raw pace, that worries you. So they'll obviously try and nullify Rovers as best they can.
Okay, well, another man who'll also have a plan of action is Stephen Bradley, and you'd imagine one of his jobs since Thursday night would be to get the players' minds back on the Cup semi-final. Here he is now with Tony.
Stephen, 5 changes from the European game. Was it a case that you were prioritising today's game over Europe?
Yeah, I think that was quite clear in the selection on Thursday. Spoke to the players that we left out on Thursday, and today's the important one. We have a chance to get ourselves into a final and a chance to do a double. In 10, 20 years' time, no one will talk about a game in Sparta. They'll talk about if we can go and achieve that. That's what they'll speak about, and that's more important to us at this moment in time.
Could be a very big day for you because you could have the title wrapped by kick-off.
Yeah, look, whatever happens there happens. We put ourselves in an incredible position in the league, and that's fine.
The game in Cork on Friday was a big surprise. Many people thought that St. Pat's were going to win that quite easily. Was that a bit of a warning sign for you?
I'm not sure who them people were, to be honest, Tony. If you watch Cork the last few weeks at home especially, anyone thought that was going to be easy. The game is very foolish and hasn't seen what Giro's putting together down there. When that draw was made, I thought that was a tough game, and I watched it, and Cork were excellent, full value for the lead. This team, we won't take Kerry lightly with the team selection on Thursday, and just with the attitude of this group, we don't take teams lightly. You give them respect. If you don't, you go out and we'll do everything possible to make sure that doesn't happen.
They came from behind against Athlone and famously against Sligo. This Kerry team look like they'll battle right to the end. They
will. They're led by Billy Denny and Colin Healy. They're led by people who have done so much in the game. Good people, and the character of this team sums them up. They epitomise their leaders, and that was shown in the game against Sligo. And Kerry are building something really nice. We just have to make sure we delay that for one more year.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Stuart, worryingly from a Kerry point of view, you feel Stephen Bradley and Shamrock Rovers are probably now at their best point over this last 5-6 year period.
Yeah, I've been actually very impressed with Stephen this year. I think he's grown again. I think he's developed even more as a manager. I was very impressed with how they've approached this season. I think right from the outset, it was group stage of European football. They wanted to win the league, wanted to win a double, and I think he was able to get that message across to his players. On top of that, they've delivered. Yeah. We had an incident not too long ago with probably one of the best talents in the country, Jack Byrne, and there was a disagreement. But how it was dealt with, it went as quickly as it came, which suggests to me that I think Stephen is now in a place where the squad and the balance is almost perfect, and a very, very, very difficult thing to do in any football team, but the results are certainly showing because of that.
They are, but how difficult for Stephen Bradley would it be to do a reset after Thursday's disappointing result and indeed performance against Sparta Prague to get the players to refocus now on a cup semi-final?
Well, it just shows you how far they've come. I mean, to be disappointed with a 4-1 defeat away to Sparta Prague, I mean, it's a tough place to go. Mm-hmm. But listen, resetting, he's done it so many times over the last 5 or 6 years, and I think that's his best attribute, being able to keep all these fantastic players happy and really on it, no matter if they've played 3 or 4 times in a week or they've been left out for 5 or 6 weeks. They come in. Aaron Green's a perfect example. Doesn't play for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, comes in and is fit, as fresh and as sharp as anyone else. All the players are the same. And you can see the young players. Josh Owen's a perfect example. To me, he is the best player in the country right now. His ability to go from a right back at Cork, be incredibly good at defending, to turn into a left wing back that is forward focused. His ability to dribble, we saw that the dribble against Bows. Yeah. It's incredible how Stephen Bradley can improve all these players, and even the good players. Burke, he's getting better again, better. He's like a fine wine. Yeah, quality all over the pitch, as we know, only too well. And it'll be interesting to see how the Kerry players cope with getting up to the pace of the game that Shamrock Rovers are likely to set. Well, Cork City are already there, as we know. Will it be cup favourites Shamrock Rovers to join them? Or can Kerry FC dare to dream of a cup final for the Kingdom in November?
And you're very welcome back. Well, these Shamrock Rovers fans were about to erupt into celebration because it was 0-0 at the Brandywell between Derry City and Sligo Rovers, right up until the 94th minute, that is, because Michael Duffy has scored for Derry City. So the league will not be won today by Shamrock Rovers. We all obviously feel it's only a matter of time, but had Derry only drawn or indeed lost against Sligo, they would have wrapped it up. But it still means there's something to play for at the end of the season. Shamrock Rovers not quite league champions just yet, but obviously that news won't be affecting the players out there tonight because it really is only a matter of time.
I disagree, Peter.
You would.
No, I think it's inevitable. I think that game against Bohemians, just the style in which they delivered the 3 points, I think they knew that was a big game for them. But again, it's great to keep it going as long as we can. Michael Duffy stepping up with a goal again, but they'll be fully focused in today's game. Yeah,
and by the way, the full-time whistle has just gone at the Ryan McBride Brandywell, so it did finish 1-0 to Derry City. Back to the focus on the semi-final, Stuart. And I mentioned the problems for the Kerry players getting up to the speed and the tempo of the game. Do you think that'd be an issue for them?
I think you'd certainly expect that sort of nervous energy. That's always a very difficult thing to manage, especially when you're the underdog, coming into an occasion like this. I don't think I'd have any issues with them, maybe fitness-wise, but certainly the pace at which Rovers I would expect to play, it might take them 5, 10, even 15 minutes maybe just to get used to. I think the movement of the Shamrock Rovers players is really something that's going to probably surprise them. Not to be disrespectful to Kerry, they wouldn't be used to playing against quality teams like this week in, week out with the First Division, so it's going to take them 10, 15 minutes to get the grips.
And Peter, one thing I want to say as well, the fitness of Kerry has been unbelievable. I was listening to an interview. They're training 4 or 5 times a week. They are going for it. They've scored a lot of 90 minutes extra time goals. So the fitness will stand in today, especially in that big pitch.
Well, we had a cracking semi-final at Turner's Cross in Cork on Friday night. Let's hope that this one delivers plenty of drama and excitement as well. It's Shamrock Rovers against Kerry FC, and on commentary for you this evening, Adrian Eames and Conan Byrne.
And a very good evening, Peter, and many thanks. The romance of the Cup A. Shamrock Rovers with an abundance of silverware against the youngest club in the League of Ireland, Kerry FC. Kerry formed just 3 years ago, contesting a cup semi-final against a club who's such a rich tradition in this competition, 25 times winners. It's a huge challenge for the men from the kingdom, but one they are going to relish, I'm sure. We're absolutely surrounded here by Kerry supporters. About 1,200 of them have made the trip to Dublin by plane, trains and automobiles, I would imagine. Buses from Tralee, Killarney, Listowel and Killorglin, and they're creating quite an atmosphere on the Shamrock Rovers celebrations in terms of the league title on ice after that news from the Ryan McBride Brandywell, with Sligo Rovers beaten by a goal to nil, that late goal from Michael Duffy, but they remain well on course. They'll be hoping for a double. Here's the team used. Shamrock Rovers back from that difficult loss in Prague and looking for a place in the final for the first time since 2020. Into the starting lineup comes some big hitters: Dylan Watts, Danny Mandroiu, Graham Burke and Michael Noonan. That's a fair bit of quality to bring to bear this evening. 5 changes in all from Thursday. Graham Burke has scored in each of the last 3 rounds. And our match referee this evening is Paul McLaughlin. He had his passport out this week, part of the Irish team of officials on duty in Poznan in the Conference League on Thursday. And what about Kerry? This big day for them. Getting here is a real pinch-me moment for all those involved with the club. The goalkeeping slot goes to Dara Foley. He's just 19. He only made his debut against UCD the week after the quarter-final win over Sligo Rovers. The setup has a mix of Kerry lads and a smattering of imports. Defender Chris McQueen was on the books of Celtic. Niall Brookwell has played every minute of Kerry's cup campaign. Killarney's Daniel Akute, who came off the bench to score the extra-time winner, is in the final attacking third this evening. Well, what a job Colin Healy has done steering Kerry FC to this semi-final slot. Big expectations, of course, of Graham Burke and Shamrock Rovers this evening, as they seek a place in the cup final for the first time since 2020. Conan Byrne alongside me. Conan Byrne, a winner of 2 FAI Cup medals in 2009 here at this very venue with Sporting Fingal, beating Sligo Rovers in the decider, and then a couple of years later, 2014, with St Patrick's Athletic. Semi-finals, they're all about winning, aren't they?
Oh, it's all about winning, and it's uncharted territory for Kerry, a first ever FAI Cup semi-final, and as you mentioned, goalkeeper Dara Foley's first ever FAI Cup game. But there should have been no talk of players enjoying the occasion. That mentality is already defeated them. This moment is huge for the club and a reward for what's been a season of considerable growth. And with Colin Healy at the helm, only upwards from here from Kerry FC. Shamrock Rovers come in with all the experience. Stephen Bradley choosing this game is more important than Thursday's game against Sparta Prague. That's very significant, and we can see that in the team selection. But like we always say, cup football doesn't always follow the script. Kerry have shown already in this competition that they won't lie down, and I'm really looking forward to the game.
Well, Shamrock Rovers have won 6 doubles in their history, 3 in a row in the 80s, but they're certainly gunning for the double this season. And of course they can wrap up the league title here next Friday night against Shelbourne, after that late drama in the Ryan McBride Brandywell with Derry just about keeping it alive. But it's a question, of course, of when rather than if Shamrock Rovers are crowned league champions. But the cup is so important. A club obviously as well, Conan, that has such a link with the FAI Cup. I mentioned the 25 times that they won it, but 2019, but you have to go back to 1987 before that. So despite all the league success of recent years, the cup has eluded them by and large.
Yeah, as you mentioned, one cup in all those years is probably not good enough for a club like Shamrock Rovers. And Stephen Bradley at the helm for so long, he'll be chasing this double. And you can, as I said before, you can see from this team selection that they're really going to go for this game.
Well, it will be Shamrock Rovers playing from right to left to get us underway in the first half. Kerry in their chain strip, all in yellow, and those 1,200 supporters around us making plenty of noise in support of Kerry FC, as Shamrock Rovers will try and really lay down a marker early on, stamp their authority on this contest. They have all the quality and all the pedigree in terms of the depth of squad as well. The fact that he could make Stephen Bradley 5 changes from that difficult trip to Prague during the week says it all, really. The approach of Kerry this evening will be very interesting. They sat in for long times against Sligo Rovers in the quarter-final. Arguably paid them perhaps too much respect and found themselves 3-0 down after an hour or so. But they fought back, showed great character and great resilience to storm back into the game. But here's Shamrock Rovers on the front foot with Graham Burke weaving his way inside the area, pulled it right across the face of goal. And an early opportunity with the home sides. Honan racing to try and keep it alive. And Corey O'Sullivan up from the back in support. But it's well defended by Oren Crowe for Kerry.
Yeah, it's good play by Shamrock Rovers. And that's that man, Graham Burke, again, that Kerry will need to keep an eye on throughout this game. He gets beyond the last defender and puts the ball across the box, and Noonan tries the back heel flick. Just didn't come off for him.
Here's Corey O'Sullivan, who's really made a name for himself in the Shamrock Rovers starting 11 with Lee Grace ruled out through injury. Grace will be out for another few weeks. He may well come back in time for the Conference League games later in the campaign. Well, O'Sullivan has done superbly well for Shamrock Rovers. Only made 6 league appearances for the club last season. This season he's a total of 27 appearances coming into this one. Matt Healy has been very impressive as well, working it down the line. Kerry trying to apply pressure. Dylan Watts feeds it wide now. Matthews, one of the 5 changes made by the hoops for this evening's game. Graham Burke getting on it once again. Here's Danny Mandrayu, who scored that fine goal, that consolation goal in Prague on Thursday. A really smart shot on the turn. And now Kerry with an opportunity to break forward. Ronan Sheehan feeds it back. And here's Joe Adams, who spent a season at Dundalk just a few years ago. Adams, who scored in each of the last 3 rounds, works it down the line. Ball sent forward now to Noonan, who gets it under control. Sends it back, and Shamrock Rovers powering forward once again with Dylan Watts. Noonan again. Manages to retain possession. Healy. And now Graham Burke on it once again for the home side. Matthews slides it forward. First time layoff for Matt Healy. And Dylan Watts looking for Graham Burke, headed just behind Burke. And the ball goes out of play. Kerry fans certainly in good voice here, Colin.
They're all around us, Adrian. Yeah, it's great to hear. It's great to see so many travelling fans come up for an FAI Cup semi-final on a Sunday evening. Plenty of kids as well. It's great to see, but it's interesting how Kerry have set up. They have started with a back 5 at various times throughout the season. And coming up to Tallaght, I suspected that they might have gone with that to keep it very solid at the back. But they've been brave and gone with the 4. So it's really interesting how that will unfold.
So a free kick for Kerry FC, taken by Sean O'Connell, one of the long-serving players in the ranks of Kerry. He's been there since the outset, making his 105th appearance for the club this evening. And an opportunity perhaps for Kerry FC to test the Shamrock Rovers defence, but it's easily mopped up, and Healy slips it on now for Dylan Watts, who goes long, seeking out the run of Noonan. Here's Mujiguzi. Kerry work it wide. Just listen to the roar of the visiting supporters, but that's a poor pass, easily intercepted by Honan, and now Healy on it. Matt Healy, he'll be determined to make it to the cup final to face his old club Cork City after their really impressive win at Turner's Cross on Friday night, when they surprised so many people with that outstanding display in dismantling St. Patrick's Athletic in the first of the Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-finals. Watts for Corey O'Sullivan, faced by Cleary, on by Lopez, and now Healy on it once again for Shamrock Rovers. You would expect the hoops to dictate affairs. Danny Mandroyu trying to get away from Ronan Tian. Tian covers off Mandroyu. Lopez, who'll head off on international duty with Cape Verde after this, of course, within touching distance now of making it to the World Cup finals next summer with Cape Verde. They'll be heading to Tripoli, hoping to secure their passage to the finals next summer. There's Josh Honan. He's had a superb season for Shamrock Rovers. He links up once again with Honan. Sent on now by Dan Cleary for Graham Burke. Burke cutting inside. Thrives in that kind of position. Matthews with the pull back into the area. And Kerry managed to clear their lines. And the ball scooped out towards this near side of the pitch. And off he goes. The Kerry man, Robbie Cleary, who's on loan from Salford City. Born in Ontario. Shamrock Rovers quickly have it back once again.
It's just when Kerry have it, Adrian, they need to be careful with giving the ball away in city areas. Cleary had an opportunity there to get a forward.
Yeah, and a mistake by Danny Mandroyu allows Kerry have possession. Akute worked it back, and now it's Cleary. Cleary away from Corey O'Sullivan. Oren Crowe, who was on the books of Cork City. On by Brookwell first time. Here's O'Connell. Sends it down the line, inviting the run of Ronan Tian. And Roberto Lopez is there to take control of that situation for Shamrock Rovers, albeit it will be a Kerry FC throw-in.
Yeah, Tian has started the game very well. He can play deep, but is playing higher up the pitch in the 10 position today. He'll be a very important player for Kerry once he gets on the ball. Very hard to dispossess, and he looked to play balls down the channels for the Kerry forwards.
Another of the contingent, the Kerry crop of players. He's from Cahir Savine. Over 100 appearances for the team in yellow. O'Connell with that throw-in. A long throw-in, of course, now back in vogue. Ball sent back into the Shamrock Rovers penalty area, where it's gathered by Ed McGinty. And he bowls it out to this near side. And off goes Honan. A lot of space for Josh Honan to drive into. The Kerry defence in retreat mode at the moment. Honan away from Oren Crowe. Crowe hasn't given up the chase. And he gets a toe to it. Throw-in goal goes in favour of the home side. Watts made himself available and receives. Lopez, Cleary to his right-hand side, but he elects to work it back to Watts. Watts and Matt Healy very much the orchestrators for Shamrock Rovers. Lopez to Danny Mandroyu. Once again, Kerry FC sitting in, keeping a very solid shape about them. Mujiguzi clears it away. He's been capped by Uganda. Mujiguzi, although he was raised in Sweden. Here's Cleary. Burke on it once again. Neat exchange of passes once again from Shamrock Rovers involving Matt Healy. Lopez slipping it on now for Dylan Watts. Colin Healy will have his charges well drilled in terms of how to approach this game. He said they would have a game plan. It's about implementing it after that. Kute amongst those back defending. The ball slipped over the top. It was clever from Shamrock Rovers. Dara Foley smartly off his line as Graham Burke made that darting run.
That's a superb ball by Watson. It just gets beyond Burke, who made a great run himself, but Foley's alert off his line and does really well.
They've copped lifted up Kerry. Shamrock Rovers so adept at winning it back smartly. Watts. This is the first ever competitive meeting of Shamrock Rovers and Kerry FC, albeit they did meet in a behind closed doors friendly at the start of the year before the season got underway at Roadstone, the training ground of Shamrock Rovers. The Hoops won by 3-0. Here's Josh Honan taking on Barrett, and Honan trying to deliver the cross, but Finn Barrett, another of the Kerry crew, did his job well.
He's done very well here, because Josh Honan, once he goes 1v1, he's always going to feel the ability to go by him pretty easy. He did. I think Cleary needs to back Barrett up a little bit more on this side, because Honan is getting 1v1 and a lot of opportunities.
So Shamrock Rovers with this set piece, 10th minute, no goals so far. A solid start from Kerry. Will be questioned here surely by Dylan Watts with the delivery. And it's swung in towards the near post and easily away. Watts will get a second opportunity to deliver here. Kute back defending. Here's Graham Burke. And Burke slipping it wide. Healy slipping it towards the back post. And Noonan trying to grind a goal. He's trying to cushion the ball for one of his teammates, but unable to produce the goods there.
Yeah, Rob was a bit hesitant in their attacking play. Comes to Noonan, he just tries to chest it down. Healy just pops it up to the back post, looking for somebody to get on the end of it. He whipped that in a little bit quicker rather than delicately put it in. Noonan can't do much with it.
Colin Healy, who took over in May of this year, himself has a couple of FAI Cup medals, 2007 and 2016. He was in the 07 final with Cork against Longford Town. That's Dennis Bean diving header on a wet and windy day at the RDS, and he came on as a sub to win a second cup medal in the 2016 decider in extra time as Cork City got over the line against Dundalk. And certainly Shawnee Maguire got the winning goal that day. Again, the pressure being applied this time by Ronan Teahan. Here's a Kute. He really buzz about the Kerry spectators every time Kerry get on the ball. Here's Barrett. He's got Cleary down the line. Kute through the middle. Ronan Teahan also in an advanced position. Here's Oran Crowe, who's studying commerce at University College Cork at the moment. The ball sent over the top, and the offside flag goes up against Cleary.
Just went a little bit too early. We're just a few seconds ago there. Lopez, brilliant challenge, centre of the pitch just to win the ball back for Rovers. He just feels as if his players need that just to lift them a little bit. Kerry doing really well, just sitting off them when Shamrock Rovers have the ball.
Here's Mantroiu. Danny Mantroiu has got more goals in Europe than he has in the League or FAI Cup. He's got 3 in Europe, 1 in the FAI Cup. Shamrock Rovers press forward once again with Dylan Watts. Graham Burke again looking very lively in behind the Kerry cover. Burke. A swarm of Kerry players around Graham Burke. Matthews rolls it back for Cleary. On by Watts, all very tight and congested, but Shamrock Rovers thriving once again. Matthews at the ball into the area. It might run invitingly, and it's drilled over the top by Josh Honan. There was an opportunity, it fell his way. And given the form he's in, you'd expect him perhaps to stick it away.
Yeah, it's poor from Brookwell. He should be clearing his lines a little bit better than that. It comes to Honan, he's alert. And it's unlike him to put it over the bar from that range. He's been hitting the target a lot this season, getting goals from outside the box, inside the box. And he'd be disappointed with his finish there.
So Dara Foley with the restart, big occasion for him, just 19 years of age. Only his 4th appearance for the club. Kute beaten to as Shamrock Rovers again have possession, drilled forward by Tico Lopez. And Finn Barrett is there to tidy up for Kerry, but under pressure from the ever-willing Michael Noonan. Healy. Lopez on for Mandroiu. Now Cleary. As you'd expect, a lot of the game being played inside the Kerry half. Rovers yet to find a way through. Early stages, Cleary, Mandroyu, and Lopez. They will be patient, Shamrock Rovers. They're trying to pick the decisive pass. Graham Burke, the give and go. Mandroyu turned into traffic, and Tian trying to come away with it. Broken up, and Kerry have possession once again. And the Kerry roars go up once again. Here's a Crute. And he creates something here. Faced by the very experienced Lopez. He pulls it right across the face of the 6-yard box where it's gathered by Ed McGinty. Under pressure from Graham Burke, does really well to pick out Mujiguzi. Crow available, but he bypasses Crow and picks out Finn Barrett. And Kerry on the front foot once again. And Crute is the target. Lopez and Crute coming together. The referee Paul McLaughlin says nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah, I think he just tripped, but earlier on, Tehan again. I've name-checked him already. He's a player to watch out for in this Kerry team. He wins the ball back from Andrew and then plays a lovely ball out to Cleary. It's good play by Kerry. They're starting to get into the game.
Yeah, Ronan Tehan, a family steeped in sport. His dad, a former Irish basketball international. His mum, Marie, won All-Stars with Kerry. His sister, also a basketball international for Ireland. And in fact, his brother was in action for South Kerry in the Kerry Championship today against Spa in the Kerry Championship. South Kerry beaten, though. And actually, Ronan's dad, as I mentioned, John, is generally physio with South Kerry, so had to skip his physio duties today in order to travel. He travelled up yesterday to attend the match.
He's a famous uncle as well, isn't he, in Morris Fitzgerald?
That's true too. That's the icing on the cake, isn't it? He remarked on that during the course of the week. He said, I have an uncle who's pretty good at football, Gaelic football, in Morris Fitzgerald. Watts. Now Lopez. Mandroyu. Corey O'Sullivan getting forward now. Graham Burke, who's switched across to this left flank to try and engineer something for the hoops. Again, good work from Kerry to win it back. Cleary putting in the hard yards there. Finn Barrett's attempt at clearance is blocked behind for a goal kick by Josh Honahan.
That's good play by Kerry, and that's very, people at home probably just watching the very defensive line that they have. They're very deep, Kerry, but they're just afraid of the pace of Noonan, Burke and Mandroyu in behind, so they're very happy for Shamrock Rovers to play in front of them. And so far, so good for Kerry.
He'll be delighted, Colin Healy, with the way his team has approached this game. They're working very hard, and they're keeping a really good shape. And then Shamrock Rovers have possession. Warren Crowe just losing out to Matt Healy. Here's Dan Cleary, who's got 2 FAI Cup winners' medals from his days at Dundalk. He'll be looking to add to that. Healy from Riverstick in Cork. Forward by Cleary. Noonan. Ricochets favours Shamrock Rovers here. Noonan inside the area. Opportunity for Shamrock Rovers. Oh, that's a superbly worked goal. Finished off by Graham Burke. A man bang in form. Goal 13 of the season for Graham Burke. Kerry undone, and Shamrock Rovers take the lead.
It's a fantastic finish by Graham Burke, just so calm and composed in that situation. But it's good play. Noonan drops in because he can't go in behind like we talked about. And it's a very clever ball into Burke, who takes one touch and puts it through the legs of Foley. A fantastic finish by, in my opinion, the best player in the league.
Just so composed in that situation when the opportunity fell his way. And Shamrock Rovers engineered the breakthrough. And it's Graham Burke who delivers for Shamrock Rovers.
It's just that intricate play, Adrian, that Kerry just can't live with. They don't come up against these type of opposition week in, week out in the First Division. And when Shamrock Rovers can do this, no team can match them.
patient, but they found a route to go. And Graham Burke, the man on the spot to slide the ball home and make it 1-0. So Conan, how does this affect Kerry's approach?
I don't think it'll affect them at all. I think they still should be doing the exact same things that they've been doing for the first 18 minutes of this game. It's just a bit of brilliance that have broken them down. Their shape is very good. Their back line is really deep, like we talked about, but that's for a reason. And they're working really hard, so I think if they can keep it like this till half-time, Colin Healy will be pretty happy. It's a big if, though, Aidan.
Yep. Healy. From a Shamrock Rovers perspective, they'll want the second goal to put real daylight between the sides. Joe Adams back defending. Most of the Kerry players back defending at the moment. Healy forward to the goal scorer Graham Burke, away from Akute. Still he goes. So adept in tight areas, the likes of Graham Burke and Dylan Watts, and that's a really cleverly disguised ball in behind the back of the Kerry defence. Matthews with the pullback. And Kerry managed to defend their lines. Here's Ronan Teague. Opportunity now for Kerry to carry the ball forward. Head out to Cleary. Shamrock Rovers getting bodies behind the ball. Cleary cutting inside. It might open up, and a heavy touch there, and that allowed Tico Lopez get back and take command of that situation.
Oh, you just said it there, Adrian. It's just such a heavy touch because Joe Adams was free on the left-hand side. If he had just lifted his head and played a ball over to him, it would have been a 1v1 with Cleary. But good play again by Teahan. I like the directness of Cleary. He's getting the ball and he's driving at the heart of the Shamrock Rovers defence. When he does get it, just needs to lift his head.
He has got goals for Kerry since his arrival this year. 3 in all in his previous 14 appearances. Healy. Mantroyu. Shamrock Rovers knocking the ball about at the moment. Pressure being applied by Ronan Teahan. Back with Tico Lopez. Now Mantroyu with time to turn and look up. Cleary. Crute back defending, so too Joe Adams alongside him. Mantroyu. Neat and intricate from Shamrock Rovers at times here as they knock the ball around. Short 10-metre passes.
Yeah, I think Kerry will be happy for them doing it in that area of the pitch. It's just when they get closer to the goal, the real quality comes.
Oh, that's clever once again. And an opportunity, and it's 2-0. A really tiny finish at Shamrock Rovers. Well, they simply carved apart the Kerry defence, and they make it 2-0. Lovely flowing move, and Shamrock Rovers with real daylight midway through the first half.
Yeah, Watts tried this ball earlier on. It went through to the keeper, but he tries it again for Mandroyu. It's a fantastic run by him, but look at the awareness to pick out Burke, and he's not going to miss from there given his form and his quality. But it's a great ball by Watts, like I said, but the finish by Burke on his weaker right foot puts it beyond the dive of Foley, and it looks like it's going to be a long evening for Kerry.
Yeah, it's a lovely finish once again from Graham Burke. It's Burke on the double for Shamrock Rovers. And Stephen Bradley will be absolutely chuffed with the way his players have approached the opening quarter of this match. Now it's all about Kerry, really. Can they get a foothold in the match? They have to try and keep playing away. Shamrock Rovers, well, from their viewpoint, the script would have been try and get goals in the first half and really kill off the enthusiasm and the vigour of Kerry. The Kerry spirit looms large, and they'll keep plugging away. As was witnessed at Mount Hog Park in the quarter-finals, the way they came back against Sligo Rovers, but all appeared to be lost. But they're at the home of the champions-elect Shamrock Rovers. This is a huge task facing them. Burke again, he's really on it. Of course, he'll be sniffing out a hat-trick. Dylan Watts now weaving his way inside the area. Well defended by Mujiguzi. Now Crow to send it forward, trying to release Akute. Cut out by Corey O'Sullivan. And O'Sullivan will get his free kick.
Yeah, it's just Graham Burke's show. He's been absolutely sensational in this opening quarter of the game. Adrian is just demanding the ball. He's really enjoying himself out there. His intricate play is just a joy to behold.
He's on the ball once again for the Hoops. Here's Matthews. Matthews making his second appearance in the FAI Cup competition this year for Shamrock Rovers. Back with Cleary. Healy on for Lopez. Kerry. Kerry gets the return pass from Adam Matthews. Michael Noonan on the edge of the area at the moment. Burke sends it back to Matt Healy. Shamrock Rovers at the moment very, very comfortable. They've got the cushion of a 2-goal advantage. They are in control of this match. Put up by Ronan Tian. Adams. Ujibuzi. A bit of a wrist there with the back pass to Foley. Noonan ready to pounce. And Lopez is there to tidy up and pick out Matt Healy. And Shamrock Rovers start to build once again. Corey O'Sullivan. Out in front of youngster. Moves it into a central area once again for Healy. Burke. Well, that's lovely football once again, but Mujiguzi got an important touch to it. Joe Adams on the spin, and Adams sending it long, trying to spring Daniel Akute. Too much on that through ball. I think Shamrock Rovers start up once again.
I just think Crowe has to get a bit closer to Mujiguzi when Shamrock Rovers are in that middle of the pitch. Crowe is a little bit isolated. He's out on his own. He needs to get a bit closer to a central midfield partner to stop those little gaps appearing in that Kerry midfield.
Here's O'Sullivan. Faced by Cleary. Honahan. Very closely watched there by Finn Barrett. Lopez recycles it out to the right-hand flank for Danny Mandroyu. Burke on it once again. It's in the old heat map on Graham Burke. Would be an interesting watch.
Right, he's been everywhere.
He's on it once again for Shamrock Rovers. Looking for the hat-trick. Straight at the goalkeeper though. Caught it neatly and sweetly, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's all at 30 yards. Lucky Brookwell didn't get a little head on it. Only got it well.
Sullivan back to Lopez. Shamrock Rovers calmly deal with that situation. Cleared away by O'Sullivan. Mujiguzi with the knockdown. Here's Finn Barrett. That's an opportunity for Kerry to play the match in the Shamrock Rovers half. Cut up by Corey O'Sullivan. Here's Tian. Gets the ball under control. Trying to flick it out towards O'Connell. Mujiguzi picks it up now. Barrett. Cleary to his right-hand side, but Barrett will deliver the cross. And they're looking for a penalty here. And the referee says get up and get on with it. Joe Adams inside the area going down. The referee, Paul McLaughlin, said nothing doing there.
I wouldn't mind seeing a second look, because it from our angle on a Finn Barrett put a great ball in, went over Lopez's head. It looked like it was heading for Joe Adams. It did go down pretty easily from the challenger Cleary, but would like to see that again.
Shamrock Rovers with possession with Mandroyu. Burke. Healy. Once again they exchange passes. Lopez. O'Sullivan on for Josh Honan. Honan cutting inside. Always likes to inject real pace into the Shamrock Rovers attack. Danny Mandroyu. Give and go once again with Graham Burke. Now Cleary getting involved. Matthews available. This is Danny Mandroyu. So far, Shamrock Rovers have managed to quench the Kerry fire. Cleary to Lopez. Mandroyu. Shamrock Rovers dominating. Retaining possession. Mandroyu clipping it down the line. Sent on. Adam Matthews, who manages to turn. Here's Mandroyu inside the area. Well covered off by Brookwell. Corner kick though to Shamrock Rovers.
It's very good play by Adam Matthews down that side. Sean O'Connell just has to be aware of him going in behind. He's got through a couple of times. Here's the incident. There's not enough in it for me. Cleary just holds his ground very well. Adams probably needs to be a little bit stronger in that situation.
So Watts with the corner kick. Cluster of Hoops players on the edge of the area. It's an outswinger. The referee has spotted an infringement inside the area. And Tico Lopez retreats saying, I did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I think it was Josh Honahan in behind him. Don't think Lopez did do anything wrong, but here's our first change of the afternoon.
Yeah, and they're going to bring on Aladenusi. Change being made. Aladenusi is coming on for Kerry FC, and they're making that early change with Mujaguzi going off, so that's the change being made. So Karl Mujaguzi heads off, and Aladenusi is coming back from injury. Samuel Aladenusi, who's been at the club since they started their involvement in the league. He's just coming back, as I say, from injury. Didn't actually feature in the FAI Cup quarter-final. Dara Foley down at the moment, requiring treatment, and that affords the Kerry players to go across to get some words of wisdom from Colin Healy. What do you suspect he's saying to them?
It's an interesting one. It looked like Mujaguzi just got picked up a little bit of an injury, so he has to make that change, and then he's got his goalkeeper to go down just so we can get some words of tactical advice onto his players. He probably just wants them to sit in a little bit deeper, and I know they're already deep enough as it is, but if they play too high, Shamrock Rovers are just going to play through them and play around them all too easily. So it's all about trying to get the half-time at this scoreline.
Well, as you mentioned, it has been the Graham Burke show.
Yeah, it's just with the outside of his left foot. The keeper isn't even expecting it. It's a fantastic finish and great play by Michael Noonan. His second goal is just all quality. Watts leaves it to Mandroyu, and Graham Burke this time puts it in the far corner. It's great play, and it's great to see Mandroyu and Burke combining so effectively. They did it up in Drogheda a couple of weeks ago. They're doing it again this evening.
Superb from Graham Burke from the restart for Kerry. Equally so from Dylan Watts in retaining possession. Here's Josh Honan.
He's done his hamstring.
Oh dear. We'll keep an eye on that, but Graham Burke in that particular move may have injured himself. Watts. Lopez. Cleary. Shamrock Rovers press forward once again. Here's Danny Mandroyu. Graham Burke trying to run it off at the moment. Mandroyu. Cleary, the game being played at the moment in the Kerry third of the pitch, the defensive third. Mandroyu. Seems to be eager to impress tonight, Danny Mandroyu. Cleary clipping it forward. Kerry trying to win it back, but Shamrock Rovers battling away. Now they have it. Lekute does well to retain possession, being really pressurised there by Tico Lopez. Aladenusi will send it forward, but straight to Lopez, and Healy will get there first and tidy up.
Yeah, they've gone to a back three, Adrian. Aladenusi has gone in centre half. We talked about this, that they have played with this over the last number of weeks, but they started with a back four, but now they've gone to, looks like a back three with wing backs.
So Colin Healy making the tweak. Shamrock Rovers pushing forward once again with Healy. Corey O'Sullivan free on this near side, but Healy takes out Matthews. Here's Watts. Around the corner ball, not quite working out, and Kerry have possession back. Joe Adams. It's ground under the challenge there from Matt Healy. Free kick awarded to the visiting side.
It will just give them more of an opportunity now in the middle there. This is where Burke started to feel his hamstring. That bit of skill is absolutely sensational, by the way, but just as it goes out a shot here, he feels his hamstring. But he seems to have can't really run him off, but maybe just got a little bit tight for it for a second or two.
So Foley with the free kick for Kerry, who have yet to work Ed McGinty in the Shamrock Rovers goal. Burke involved once again. Watts though losing out to Akute, and Tian will carry it forward. Healy trying to dispossess him. In the end, Matthews puts the ball out of play. Kerry supporters really trying to urge their team on at every opportunity. Sean O'Connell to take the throw in. He's the club's player of the year last year. Hails from Tralee. Cleary. And just to dig out the clearance. And Androyu scoops it wide now for Corey O'Sullivan. Honahar. Finn Barrett trying to apply pressure. Shamrock Rovers now retaining it through Matt Healy. He's dictating at the moment along with Dylan Watts in the centre of midfield. But Graham Burke so far the star turn. And he's onto it once again. Joe Adams with that crunching challenge, which Graham Burke didn't like, and it's all getting rather heated at the moment. Graham Burke and now Tian gets involved. And the referee will have to take control of this situation. Well, the game has been played in a really good spirit so far, but fireworks now.
It's going to be a very interesting call what Paul McLaughlin does here now.
Well, Joe Adams was involved initially. Here it is once again. And Graham Burke.
Yeah, it is a poor challenge.
Yeah, on the receiving end.
It's full-blooded. There's nothing really in it in terms of a two-footed lunge or anything like that. It's a yellow card for him. Burke, on the other hand, count himself extremely lucky.
So yellow for both Joe Adams and Graham Burke into the referee's notebook. And that's certainly got the Kerry supporters around us exercised at the moment.
I'm very surprised with that. I thought he was going for the red card for Graham Burke after putting his hands on Adams the way he did.
Now Paul McLaughlin is going across here, and there's been a yellow card dished out. Possibly Colin Healy, or certainly somebody on the Kerry backroom team. So it's all getting quite animated at Tallaght Stadium.
I'd say he's just bamboozled about why Graham Burke wasn't sent off for that. I guess that's what the yellow card was for.
Well, after all that, Shamrock Rovers have the set piece. Dylan Watts is on it. Burke inside the area, being picked up at the moment by Aladenusi. Poor delivery there from Dylan Watts. Not something you normally would say about his deliveries. Ball back with McGinty and O'Sullivan. Matthews. Akute back goal side. Swept on by Cleary for Lopez. Now Mandroyu. Shamrock Rovers look to pick it up once again. Mandroyu. Healy. Cleary just weighing up matters at the moment. Very patient once again for Shamrock Rovers in terms of their approach. O'Sullivan. Back with Lopez. And he started his career with Crumlin United, slips it forward now Mandroyu for Healy. He's very much firmly in contention for Player of the Year in terms of the SSE Electricity League. Josh Monan again scampering it to the central area. Lopez. And Burke. Dylan Watts. The ball played towards the back post. Nobody there for Shamrock Rovers to attack it. So Chris McQueen got the call to leave it, and it sails behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, they look a bit more solid now with the three at the back, and Tian has dropped in. He started off in the 10 position. He's gone inside Crow. So now Shamrock Rovers might have a bit more bodies in the middle of the pitch. Might have to go around Kerry now rather than through them.
Tipped forward by Barrett, put out by Lopez initially. Shamrock Rovers once again. Burke with the audacious effort from long range, while he spotted that Dara Foley was away from home. And such is the confidence of Graham Burke at the moment. He will try anything.
Yeah, you see, Foley's a long way out of his goal, but he just didn't get the connection that he would have liked. There's too much loft on it. Needs to be more like a 4-iron, Adrian.
Confirmation as well. There's been a yellow card for Ronan Tian, who's the stand-in skipper for Kerry this evening, with Sean McGrath, their most experienced player, on the bench. He's likely to come on, you would imagine, at some point in the game. McGrath, who scored a terrific goal against Treaty last week. Dan Cleary. Once again, Kerry dropping off. Danny Mantroiu, faced by the yellow card of Joe Adams. Shamrock Rovers again trying to prize an opening here. Matthews back to Cleary. Noonan and Josh Honan on the edge of the area at the moment. Shamrock Rovers content to try and pick their moment. Forward by Cleary. Androyu involved. Burke. An opportunity for Healy, trying to sweep it into the top corner. Just got underneath it.
What a touch by Mandroyu. Lays it across to Burke. It just looked like it popped up for Healy as it came to him. You'll see it here. Just pops up a little bit for him. That's why his strike gets elevated a little bit. Again, good play by Shamrock Rovers. They've definitely taken the foot off the pedal a little bit in terms of their attacking prowess.
Colin Healy's side will keep plugging away into the semi-final off the back of some good form. Just 2 defeats in the last 11 in all competitions. That's pretty good going. Bute with the delivery into the area. Cleary trying to hunt it down. And just a little rash and exuberant with the challenge there, Robbie Cleary, and that's an easy decision for Paul McLaughlin to make. Free kick awarded to Shamrock Rovers, and they get on with it quickly. No respite for Kerry as Shamrock Rovers come once again with Mandroyu. Burke on for Cleary. The play has been down that Shamrock Rovers right wing. Here's Mandroyu for Graham Burke inside the area. The pullback, and it's driven over the top. Wasted opportunity by Dylan Watts.
It's a huge opportunity for Watts, and it's the three lads again combining. Mainly Mandroyu and Burke. Great little 1-2 between the two of them. Brilliant ball across, and Watts has to score. It should be 3-0. But great awareness by Burke to spot the run of Watts. And just watching these attacking players in Burke, Mandroyu, and indeed Watts combine.
Yeah, Dylan Watts yet to score this season. That was a big, big moment for him to end the drought. So just a few minutes to go to half-time. It's been a pretty, by and large, leisurely first half for Shamrock Rovers. Those 2 Graham Burke goals have them firmly in the driving seat. Watts looking for Honohan. He's trying to out-muscle Finn Barrett, and he's managed to do so. And he delivers the cross into the area. Noonan in there challenging, and it's gathered in the end by Dara Foley.
Great defending by McQueen, I think it was. Because Honohan does very well. He just out-muscles, like you said, Finn Barrett, and puts a very good ball into the box.
Sent on by Finn Barrett, but O'Sullivan, Shamrock Rovers, and it back once again. Matt Healy. Hustled there by Ronan Sheehan, who was on a yellow card, a little like Joe Adams and of course Graham Burke. So 3 players in the referee's notebook. Healy also carded, I understand. The referee dashed across, it looked like Healy was the recipient. And Troy Burke, who's busy and buzzing once again. There you go. When he's on it, he's on it.
Just needs to be a little bit more careful, because I think these Kerry players are going to be riling them up a little bit.
Certainly from Stephen Bradley's perspective, you don't want a player picking up a red card in the semi-final. Mandroyu. Kute trying to get there first. There's that Burke magic once again.
You could do a half-time reel of just Graham Burke with the good and the bad.
It's been a lot of good as the ball is sent forward, looking for Noonan inside the area. Niall Brookwell sees it out. Brookwell, who is a youth player in Liverpool. Stood strong with solid defending from Brookwell. So 2 additional minutes we played at the end of the opening 45 minutes at Tallaght Stadium. Ball aimed towards a Kute, came off the head of Matt Healy, sent forward by Tian. Dylan Watts gets it under control and now is in the possession of Lopez. Kerry to his right-hand side. Just slow it down, Shamrock Rovers. Very much in command of this cup tie as things stand, heading to the final on the 9th of November and a meeting with Cork City. Healy, Burke, and Kerry O'Sullivan. Noonan's layoff. Quite managed to get his teammate there, but Noonan still has possession. Burke back to O'Sullivan. Kerry pressing up on the Shamrock Rovers player in possession. Lopez for Healy. Final knockings in the first half. Shamrock Rovers keep the ball in play. O'Connell trying to link up with Joe Adams, manages to do so. And swept away by McQueen. Scott, born in Glasgow, cleared his lines, but Shamrock Rovers once again have possession back. Kerry O'Sullivan. Perhaps one last opportunity, maybe, for Shamrock Rovers before the break. Healy forward for Burke. Mandroyu. And off he goes, Graham Burke. Healy. Wide now for Cleary. Opportunity for Shamrock Rovers perhaps to pop it into the area, but instead they'll try and work it through the lines. Dylan Watts under pressure from the defending Robbie Cleary. Watts manages to dig out a cross, and Noonan with the header. Oh, it's a third goal right on the blow of half time. Well, that's superb from Shamrock Rovers. They make it 3-0. Noonan with a fine header, but superb from Dylan Watts in a tight situation. 3-0 to Shamrock Rovers.
It's very hard to defend Kerry in this situation because it's really poor from them to allow Dylan Watts, the player of his ability, to be turned here to get a ball into the box. Noonan gets away. Foley will be disappointed he didn't put it, bit of a paw on it just to push it the far side of the post. But Cleary here, he gets the complete wrong side. Noonan with downward header, that's what you want your strikers to do. And Foley probably push it outside the post.
Well, Michael Noonan, he scored the winner here for the Irish under-21s against Andorra last month. The youngest ever score at that level, clipping the wings of Mason Melia, and he's put Shamrock Rovers 3 to the good, and it is half-time at Tallaght Stadium. Well, Graham Burke very much the star of the show with a brace of goals in the first half. He also picked up a yellow card, and Michael Noonan adding further gloss to the scoreboard as Shamrock Rovers firmly in control, and as things stand, heading for the cup final on November 9th. Half-time at Tallaght Stadium. It's Shamrock Rovers 3, Kerry FC 0.
First ever competitive meeting of Shamrock Rovers and Kerry started reasonably well for the visitors, but then 2 moments of magic from Graham Burke with Shamrock Rovers very much in control. Then a moment of madness from Graham Burke, and it could have had serious consequences for Shamrock Rovers, but they've added a third at half-time at Tallaght Stadium. They lead by 3-0. Plenty to talk about after that first half. We're going to get straight into the goals, Gareth, first of all. Maybe a little bit of good fortune in the way the ball ran for Shamrock Rovers for the first goal. Great finish by Graham Burke. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Kerry, they had to come here and they had to be flawless in doing the basics well. And to be fair to them, they've worked hard, but it's just been moments of magic that have undone it, especially at the beginning. We've seen these goals now. I mean, Burke's not made the goalkeeper, but watch the touch here. They got a bit of fortune, but watch Michael Noonan. The delay in his pass, you'll see it here now even better. He's waited until the defender's committed himself and then slid it through his legs. He's lifted his head, and it's just that moment, he slid it straight through his legs, and Burke's on it. You'll see a beautiful picture of it here now. Bit of luck there. He gets the ball just through the legs, and then Graham Burke's in. It's pure and utter quality from the centre forward.
Yeah, and if the construction of that goal was good, Stuart, the construction of the second goal was even better.
Yeah, I think delay is a key word there. You have a look at Graham Burke in the picture. Once this comes into Dylan Moss, this is a wonderfully weighted pass into Danny Mandrew. Have a look at Graham Burke. Just hesitates, and then he drifts into position, and he's got you've got to give a lot of credit to Mandrew there for his vision and the fact that he's just literally put this on a play for him, because it's a wonderful little touch from Mandrew. It's a hell of a ball from Dylan Moss. Wonderfully weighted pass, a little bit of height, just lobs it into that perfect area. I think Rovers, a goal like that suggests to me they're in the humour to maybe, play around a little bit. You can see they're quite relaxed. They're doing things that they probably maybe wouldn't normally do in a kind of higher profile sort of situation. But they've been excellent in how they've controlled possession and the 2 quality goals.
The question, though, has to be asked at half-time. Should Graham Burke still be on the pitch, Gareth?
It is the biggest red card I've ever seen in my life. To me, Paul McLaughlin and Neil Doyle are the 2 best referees in the league by a country mile. They are so far ahead. And the reason that they are so good is they get the big decisions right. This is a horrendous decision by Paul McLaughlin. I cannot believe that he's dished out 3 yellow cards for this instance. Graham Burke, that's a good tackle. Stewie used to do that 5 times a game when I was playing against Shells in 2006.
It's a strong tackle, Gary. I mean,
it's a great tackle.
He's entitled to go, right?
And Graham Burke's complaining, he tried to smash me. Of course he tried to smash him. Graham Burke's the best player on the pitch. To get Kerry FC back into this game, it's better that Graham Burke has taken an injury and he's off the pitch.
Nobody can sit here. Nobody can sit here and defend that. I mean, Stephen Bradley knew it straight away. He went over to get him away, and I think even Graham himself probably knows that he's lucky, very, very lucky boy to be still on.
Yeah, and I'm sure Colin Healy was incensed at that decision because he was fairly close to it and could see Burke's reaction. And to most people, I think it was a sending off, but McLaughlin decided otherwise. Let's talk about the third goal, though, Stuart, because it really now has put the game almost beyond Kerry, hasn't it?
Yeah, and look, this has pretty much been the pattern of the game. Rovers are going to play little intricate passes, and the disc cross has to be stopped. There's no way Dylan Moss should be allowed to get turned and just kind of lob a little ball in like that. But the header from Noonan, the movement, fantastic, just drifts into that front post. I would say Dara Foley maybe could have gotten there a little bit quicker here, but just to kind of maybe defend him, there's no bounce on it. Have a look at the bounce here. I think it comes in quite low. It's a nonchalant little delivery from Dylan Watts. Should never happen, but see that? Have a look at the bounce. Doesn't bounce up. The keeper's expecting that maybe to prop up. But all credit to Noonan. That's a difficult header. There's not a huge amount of pace on the ball. He's got to really wrap his neck around it, and he sticks it in the far corner. It's again, a bit of quality. It's
a great header, right? But the quality is not even in the cross. Rob Cleary, I talked about they've got to be flawless in the basics. That's the basics. Do not let him get the cross. Yeah. Get down, block the cross, take a corner, and get yourself organised. That's the only goal Colin Healy will probably have a problem with. The others are just pure class.
OK, well, it's a long way back now for Kerry. Half-time in the second of the weekend Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-finals. Rovers leading Kerry by 3-0. we'll have the Republic of Ireland's under-21 Euro qualifier against Slovakia from 7 o'clock on RTE2 next Friday. Then a nation holds its breath. Our World Cup qualifying hopes hang in the balance. The Republic of Ireland are away to Portugal next Saturday. The big match live here on RTE2 and the player from 7 o'clock. So 3-0 to Shamrock Rovers at half-time, and we've just got word from downstairs, Stu, that Stephen Bradley's making 2 changes at half-time. Burke and Mandroy been taken off. Now, there might be 2 reasons for taking Graham Burke off: to keep him out of trouble, or possibly he might have picked up a slight injury during that first.
Well, yeah, well, to be fair, we did see an incident where he was kind of holding his hamstring, kind of overstretched for one, but I think it's a little bit of common sense to kind of make that change. They'll certainly feel with what they have on the bench, Shamrock Rovers, they can certainly take both those players off. Look at the man that's coming on the pitch. So, I mean, look, important for Shamrock Rovers just to kind of maintain that tempo, maybe building it a little bit more, and everything for Kerry to do. Now, I mean, we spoke about how they finish games well. Have they got something in the locker?
Okay, let's find out now in the second half as we return to Adrian and Conan for second half commentary.
Cheers, Peter. So all set for the second half. Rory Gaffney in, and Graham Burke is gone. And Sean Kavanagh, we were hearing, has introduced for Graham Burke, and Danny Mandroyu has also gone. Also Gaffney in for Mandroyu and Sean Kavanagh for Graham Burke. A couple of changes made for the Hoops right at the start of the second half. It'll be Kerry to get the second half in motion. Joe Adams sending it back to Niall Brookwell, and the former Liverpool youth player drives it forward. At some point, Kerry will have to try and come out to play. It's a difficult task facing Shamrock Rovers in the kind of form they're in. Just about acquitting themselves well in the second half here for Kerry. Staged that remarkable comeback against Sligo Rovers at Mount Park in the quarter-finals. Hard to see them repeating the trick, but they have to try and maybe win the second half, or at least acquit themselves well, Conan.
Yeah, I think so. I think Shamrock Rovers, they're not a team that usually go and try and get more goals, and they actually have to. They like to pass the ball around, open teams up. And just in terms of the tactical switches here that Stephen Bradley has implemented, Sean Kavanagh has come in, like you said, but he's dropped into Dylan Watt's position, and Dylan Watts is playing higher up the pitch with Rory Gaffney as the 2 10s.
Here's Matthews and Cleary. Cleary with an opportunity faced by Tian. Matt Healy on it once again for Shamrock Rovers. Sean Kavanagh, great to see him back. His career over the last couple of years really littered by injuries. Just his 4th appearance for Shamrock Rovers this season. Here's an opportunity, perhaps for a 4th goal. A couple of Shamrock Rovers players attending for handball. The ball was hoisted in the end into the area. Retrieved here by Kavanagh. Back with Corey O'Sullivan. Kavanagh on it once again. Led off by Rory Gaffney. Gaffney part of the 4 in a row title-winning side with Shamrock Rovers, but he hasn't ever won an FAI Cup medal. He'll be hoping to make amends for that in a few weeks' time. Lopez has been so key in the glory years for Shamrock Rovers. Hard to imagine he was working in a bank just a few years ago. Kerry have possession back with Brookwell, trying to carry it forward.
Just goes to show the quality that Shamrock Rovers have, Adrian. He's bringing on the likes of Sean Kavanagh, who hasn't really got the game times because riddled with injuries over the last number of years, but bringing on him and Rory Gaffney. It's just 2 players that would probably play in any other team in the division.
Here goes Josh Honan, being tracked now by Finn Barrett. Aladenisi backing up his teammate here at the moment. Honan holding it up. Has support available. It's a return from Matt Healy. Kerry applying pressure, trying to force Shamrock Rovers away from goal. Cleary. Matthews. Haven't seen too much game time either, really, Adam Matthews for Shamrock Rovers, albeit this is his 17th appearance of the season in all competitions. Shamrock Rovers picking up where they left off, dominating the football at the moment. Kavanagh to deliver, ball inside the area, and the shot, well, it's a fine save. Michael Noonan denied a 2nd goal of the match, while the keeper just got enough on it to shovel it behind, but it'll be a corner kick for Shamrock Rovers.
That's a brilliant save by Foley, but just look at the step over by Watts. He just lets it go through. Kavanagh does very well here, puts the ball into the box, but just look at the step. Noonan point blank range. Foley does really well. Stays big, makes the save.
The 19-year-old from Killorglin earning his corn there. Excellent save from close range. Noonan will perhaps be a little unhappy with the contact he made on the ball. Watts with the deep corner towards the back post, and the referee has pointed. Well, it's a yellow card. Initially thought he was going to award a penalty perhaps. Well, it is. It is a penalty. It is a penalty. Perhaps like simulation was the reason for the yellow card, but it is a penalty kick for Shamrock Rovers. The corner swung in from that right-hand side.
Yeah, it's Oren Crowe on Honohan. He's not even looking at the ball. It's a good decision by Paul McLaughlin.
Well, this is an opportunity for Shamrock Rovers to make it 4. Dylan Watts had a great opportunity in the first half, but hoisted the ball over the bar. This for 4-0. Penalty kick for Shamrock Rovers. And he drives the ball high into the roof of the net. Super penalty. Shamrock Rovers 4, Kerry FC 0.
It's a brilliant penalty from Dylan Watts. Foley's very good at them. He saved 2 against Athlone a couple of weeks ago in a league fixture in the first division. And he goes the right way here. But just the height just beat him. It's a brilliant penalty from Dylan Watts.
Referee Paul McLaughlin awards the penalty kick, and Dylan Watts drills it high into the roof of the net. And he has his first goal of the season, and it's 4-0 now to the Hoops. Well, it was always going to be a tough task for Kerry FC travelling to Tallaght Stadium to take on a side of the quality of Shamrock Rovers, and so it has proven so far. An opportunity here with Joe Adams. Sean O'Connell might fancy swinging this in with the left boot.
This is the first time that they can get a ball into the area, Adrian.
We're just awaiting instruction here on what way to approach this set piece. Adams and Sean O'Connell. Couté making a run inside the area at the moment. In it goes. And Ed McGinty, very commanding once again, taking control. And now Noonan. Matthews to his right-hand side, and Noonan just skipping away from a couple of challenges. Brookwell trying to get something on it with Couté with the misdemeanor. And the referee is going to issue another yellow card here.
I thought that was a bit harsh, going for the card for that. It was a foul. Just didn't think it was a yellow card for it. Noonan overplayed it. He should have released the ball earlier to Matthews to create an overload down this right-hand side.
Healy. Joe Adams just applying pressure there on Dan Cleary. Corey O'Sullivan as well to skip away from Robbie Cleary, and Shamrock Rovers push on once again with Kavanagh. Noonan just losing out here. McQueen will carry it away. Kicks out at Couté. Lopez does really well to get a decisive touch on the ball. Cleary feeds it to Kavanagh. Kavanagh sending one looking for Gaffney. Noonan is onto it. Very closely monitored there by Brookwell. Dan Cleary. 4 goals to the good. Shamrock Rovers absolutely bossing this one now. Certainly Stephen Bradley felt it was a tricky enough fixture for his side, but they've really taken control and looked after business really well tonight.
They've been very good, even from the first minute of the game. And Roberto Lopez set the tempo after about 8-9 minutes with that crunching tackle on Couté. after that they really took a hold of the game, created the first of the openings.
Honan up against Barrett. That's been a real battle this evening. Honan lays it off now to Dylan Watts. And Watts away from Oren Crow. And again, Kerry with their defensive shield trying to prevent the hoops, breaking them down once again. It's been a hard task for them. Healy. Cleary. He thought about the shot. Gaffney. The big man on the turn on the edge of the area. Rolls it back for Healy. Collected by Matthews. Cleary for Noonan. Just a little untidy there from Shamrock Rovers, and Kerry FC have possession back with O'Connell and Teen. Does really well to give Kavanagh the slip, and off go Kerry. Finn Barrett slipping it down the line for the run of Cruce. Lopez! Big decision for the referee. Penalty for Kerry. Cruce did really well to get away from Lopez. And the defender, in trying to atone, although it was clumsy. And Cruce taken down, and Joe Adams will take this penalty kick surely. Kerry fans looking for a red card for the Shamrock Rovers defender.
You could see why they're looking for it, because he's gone 1v1 with McGinty. The Kerry supporters around us aren't happy with it. But it's great pace by Okudute. It looks like Joe Adams going to be stepping up to get Kerry off the mark. Could we be in for a comeback, Adrian?
Well, here we go then. Well, Joe Adams, who scored in each of the previous 3 rounds, has the ball. So the Kerry supporters haven't had too much to get excited about in the match so far. But this is the moment. Joe Adams, formerly of Dundalk, facing Ed McGinty from the spot. Adams for Kerry FC scores. And the Kerry supporters celebrate in style. Super penalty from Joe Adams.
Yeah, it's a fantastic penalty from Joe Adams. They haven't got up the pitch all that often in this game. And Okute showed his pace and desire, and Adams showed his coolness and calmness to slot it home.
Well, they're still fighting, Kerry. Well, that's a great moment for the travelling Kerry supporters. They're 4-1 down. They're hardly going to stage another Sligo-like comeback, but they're on the scoreboard.
They were going to make 2 changes. He's just held them off for a couple more minutes to see how they react to getting that goal back. And certainly want to give them a pep in their step anyway.
Well, just a reminder, a little reality check for Shamrock Rovers with that goal, as Honan delivers the ball into the area. And again, Noonan lurking inside the box, unable to get on the end of it.
Great play by Honan down the left-hand side. Uses his strength and power to get in behind Barrett. And then a lovely bit of skill to put a ball into a box. Just a little bit too much power on it.
Tian away from Gaffney. And the Kerry confidence is up now. Barrett. And Cloutier is the target, but that's easily cut out. Cleary supporting the play. Almost had possession. Corey O'Sullivan. Again up towards Gaffney, and the big man gathers the ball in and lays it off to Matthews. Watts off to Cleary. Now Healy. O'Sullivan. Goal from Joe Adams has really got the Kerry FC crowd going. Is there more to come from the team in yellow? control of the ball once again. Honan lays it off to Dylan Watts. Cleary. Matt Healy. Here's Gaffney. Noonan. Gaffney. They really put the game to bed in the first half with those 3 goals, 2 from Graham Burke and then Noonan right on the blow at half-time. Kerry in the second half showing plenty of resilience. Dylan Watts had made it 4-0 from the spot. Joe Adams just energising the large travelling support. So a double change has been made by Kerry. Aaron Healy, son of the manager Colin, is coming on, and Cian Brosnan, who scored twice off the bench against Sligo Rovers in that memorable FAI Cup quarter-final win for Kerry FC, is on. So Aaron Healy is in, and so too is Cian Brosnan. Brosnan from Tralee certainly provided plenty of entertainment for the Kerry supporters this season.
Well, certainly 2 players that probably are disappointed it didn't start the game. They'll be wanting to prove their manager wrong and why he didn't.
Robbie Cleary toiled for so much of the match for Kerry. Shamrock Rovers looking for a 5th here. Healy. Return pass, it's deflected behind in the end. It'll be a corner kick for Shamrock Rovers. Matt Healy's so involved in everything that's good about Shamrock Rovers, but that shot deflected away.
Himself and Watts are being at the centre of everything, and Healy does things beyond what you can see at home in terms of his positioning and his ability just to read the game. He's been outstanding for Shamrock Rovers this season.
So set-piece opportunity for Shamrock Rovers just past the hour mark at Tallaght Stadium. Dylan Watts swings it in. It's a real tester for the goalkeeper. The 19-year-old does well despite the pressure being applied. Charging forward once again, has support on the outside from Josh Honahan. Kavanagh and Healy as they try to create something here. Shamrock Rovers a little shade behind, but Finn Barrett decided against and letting it run and executed the clearance. Throw in quickly taken by Corey O'Sullivan. Shamrock Rovers willing to get on with it. Healy.
Shamrock Rovers are so good at this, of just killing the game, killing the momentum on Kerry, getting that goal back. Crowd have gone quiet again because Rovers are just dominating possession.
Watts driving forward once again, and it might run invitingly here for Matthews into the side netting. Adam Matthews crashed that effort into the rigging.
It's a poor miss because the ball comes to him in a great area. Strike right across the ball, tries to go for the near post. O'Connell does well, block the angle on it. There's a poor finish from Matthews.
Watts trying to just lob the ball forward. Kerry now trying to apply pressure once again. Pressure here being applied by Crute on Lopez. Corey O'Sullivan will work it clear for the home side. Now Sean Kavanagh. Kavanagh does really well to just dig the ball forward, and now it's with Matt Healy. What an astute signing. He was bringing him in from Royal Paris in Belgium. Shamrock Rovers threatening once again. Look how advanced Dan Cleary is. Matthews. Set back now for Healy. Watts. Kavanagh to deliver the cross into the area. Headed away. Tian got something on it on the edge of the area. Picked up though by Matt Healy. Now Dylan Watts. Placed by Oren Crow. The effort, well, just off target from Dylan Watts.
Yeah, again, good play by Shamrock Rovers, very patient in their build-up. Just steps inside Crow and he tries to just curl it in through the near post, but it sails harmlessly wide.
More changes on the way for Shamrock Rovers. Ian Barrett is coming on for Josh Honan. So his race is running. Conor Malley is being introduced. Conor Malley, who came off the bench in Prague on Thursday night after being out for the guts of 2 months, is on for the remainder of this game. Matt Healy is the other player. What a moment this is with Gary O'Neill coming on as well for Shamrock Rovers. Dan Cleary is the other player who's gone off, but Gary O'Neill from Tralee on to face his hometown team.
Yeah, lovely moment for Gary O'Neill. He's gone into the back three. Usually he'd be sitting in front of those players.
Like Sean Cameron, he hasn't had too much game time for Shamrock Rovers this season. All just his 20th appearance of the campaign. He's from Carsley in Tralee, and his dad, Tony, very much involved in the development. He was a real driving force behind Tralee Dynamos in Kerry.
Yeah, Sean Kavanagh has drifted out to left wing back, allowing Keane Barrett into the centre midfield.
Keane Barrett is a player who's very much familiar with Kerry as well. He had 2 spells on loan from Shamrock Rovers at Kerry FC over the last couple of years. In fact, he was combining football in Kerry with his leaving cert at the time. Matthews for Gaffney. Kerry cleared their lines. Keane Barrett getting involved, and now it's with Conor Malley. He's technically on loan at the moment from Sligo Rovers. Lopez. Certainly Daniel Lecrute has kept Pico Lopez busy tonight. Lecrute managed to win the penalty kick that has certainly energised the Kerry faithful.
Yeah, he's big and strong. He's very quick as well, so like you said, he has kept Pico busy.
This cup run has also done for the Kerry players. It's very much put so many of them in the shop window as well, Conan.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Remember ourselves as First Division club at Sporting Fingal. You know, the players that were sought after our cup final win.
Aaron Healy trying to work it forward. Oh, Noonan could be in here for Shamrock Rovers. Tricky angle. Noonan. And still Noonan. Oh, yeah. Lovely goal. Again, soft defending, but Noonan has his second of the evening. And it's 5-1 now to Shamrock Rovers.
It's absolute quality by the young player. The keeper probably doesn't cover himself in glory. You'll see it from this angle. He hesitates, he comes once, he comes again, then he decides to stay in his line. And he goes by McQueen really easily. And he does what Burke done in the first half, just slots it through the legs. It's brilliant centre forward play, just that close control. Loads of touches of the ball. See here, look how many touches he gets. Goes by McQueen. He dangles a leg, could have went down. Through the legs, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So a double for Michael Noonan, a double for Graham Burke, and Dylan Watts from the spot for Shamrock Rovers. Coasting now into the FAI Cup final, the Sports Direct Cup final, as McGinty gathers on the edge of his area. Matthews. Very loud firework or something went off there in the background. It gave us both, I think, a bit of a jolt there.
He jumped a mile.
Corey O'Sullivan stepping away from that challenge. Kavanagh. Now Kerry have possession with Ronan Tehan driving forward, and he draws the foul. And the free kick awarded. Sean Kavanagh with the challenge. Jersey pull there on Ronan Tehan.
Yeah, he's been so good for this Kerry team. Tehan striving forward. He's so direct when he gets on the ball.
So a free kick here. Keane Brosnan is there, and so too is Sean O'Connell. I fancy having a crack here. Brosnan will leave it for O'Connell to clip it towards the back post. Well defended by Shamrock Rovers. Matthews just doing enough to take control ahead of Brookwell.
Yeah, a little training ground routine there. Didn't work out particularly well, but good inventive play by Kerry. Trying something a little bit different.
Well, they have this long throw in. Aladenusi to take. And he's got good distance on it. It'll break on the edge of the area towards Aaron Healy. And, seen off the ball. Kavanagh will clear. Flag goes up. For a good old chunk of the afternoon, it was looking like Shamrock Rovers would be crowned champions. Sligo Rovers drawing with Derry City at the Ryan McBride brand duel. Then in stoppage time, Derry grabbing a winning goal, so the title race is just about still alive, but Shamrock Rovers can wrap up the league title, of course, next Friday night when they entertain Shelbourne here at Tallaght Stadium. And then their minds, I'm sure, will turn towards winning the double. Have done it 6 times in the past. Haven't done it since the 80s. 3 in a row in the 80s. That famous Shamrock Rovers side that just gobbled up league titles and FAI Cups to beat the band.
You always want to be on a pitch when you win a league title, though, Adrian. It's not the same when somebody else wins it for you. So they'd be really looking forward to that game against Shelbourne.
There'll be a great atmosphere. The celebratory mode next Friday. They're looking for another one here. Gaffney inside the area, trying to cut inside, and it just broke away from him. And the chance goes a begging in the end.
Oh, it's a brilliant play by Gaffney originally with the outside of his right foot playing in Watts. And he does cut inside McQueen, but he looks as if he wants to go by him again rather than just getting a strike away. He just brings so much to this Shamrock Rovers team with his hold-up play, his pace, intelligence.
Cloutier got something on it. Left here by Gary O'Neill. Sullivan. Lopez. Forward by O'Neill. Conor Malley. Dylan Watts. An opportunity. Almost the hat-trick there. The keeper down to make a smart save. Darren Foley. Well positioned.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for Foley. He's managed the game well. He said it's his first ever FAI Cup game. His 4th start, like you mentioned earlier, Adrian. Afternoon of fire coming up against the likes of Burke, Mondroy, Noonan, Watts. He's made some very good saves in this game.
Watts. Gaffney. Now Matthews. Gaffney lifting it towards the back post. Finn Barrett gets the ball under control and clears it away towards Keane Brosnan, who in turn just allowed the ball drift away from him. O'Sullivan. Barrett back to Lopez. Shamrock Rovers in control of the ball once again. Malley. Noonan. Barrett. On for Gary O'Neill. And Matthews available. And he gets the return from Gaffney. Matthews with the ball into the area. It's a good ball and a really adept header. Dylan Watts, who's looking for his second goal of the season. He almost provided it there.
That's great play by Shamrock Rovers again, especially down this right-hand side. Matthews But like you said, hasn't had much game time, but he's done really well this evening. Puts a great ball in, and Watt's just too deft to touch.
Gaffney got something on it. Barrett will pick it up for Kerry. Noonan again, working so hard for his team. It's certainly been an eventful game. All the goals and no shortage of cards and incidents during the course of the game.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Adrian. Shamrock Rovers should have been down to 10 men when Graham Burke was involved with that, with Joe Adams. I think that's what Colin Healy would be most disappointed about at the end of the game. They're taking nothing away from the performance. They've been so professional throughout.
They haven't won the Cup since 2019. They're heading back into the FAI Cup final to face Cork opposition. Met a Cork side in a Cup final since the 60s. Cork Celtic twice, in fact, in the 60s. 64 and 69. Shamrock Rovers winning both of those ties. It'll be a big occasion as well. Cork City will bring a huge travelling support to the Aviva on the 9th of November. And of course, Shamrock Rovers, there'll be a real hunger for tickets as well. So it promises to be some occasion. O'Neill. Gaffney. Gaffney. Tipped on by Barrett. Noonan in behind the Kerry defence. And the goalkeeper does well to get there first, ahead of Noonan.
Yeah, very assured that time. Left his line, didn't hesitate. Does really well there, Foley.
Connorman driving forward. Kute is down at the moment, so temporarily Kerry down to 10. Shamrock Rovers continue to build up ahead of steam here, on by Kavanagh. Ken Barrett trying to deliver the cross. Brookwell and Brosnan. And Tian, the football from Kerry FC once again. And Keane Brosnan trying to release Crute, who's back on his feet. And Lopez there to cut out the danger. O'Neill for Gaffney. Gaffney will be 36 in a couple of weeks' time. They'll be heading to the Aviva. Here goes Dylan Watts. Gaffney trying to tee it up for a colleague, but Kerry managed to snuff out the danger. Aaron Healy, who was born in Sunderland. And off goes Tian, tearing down that right flank. And Clouche, and the ball seen out of play for a throw-in, and Kerry will make another change. It looks like Sean McGrath will be on. Yep, Sean McGrath being introduced for Kerry. And it's the man who was down just a few moments ago, Daniel Lecute, their quarter-final hero, who came up with the winning goal in extra time to knock out Sligo Rovers, who goes off. But he has certainly run the lines and run the channels.
Yeah, he's done really well, Lecute. He's given Pico Lopez a run for his money. Just his pace and power, he's just caused all sorts of problems. Just the ball didn't get up there half as much as what Colin Healy would have hoped with the dominance of Shamrock Rovers in possession.
So Sean McGrath from Ballyduff in Kerry on for the last 15 minutes or so, and he has taken over the captain's armband from Ronan Tian for the remainder of the game. So throw in here for Kerry FC, which Samuel Aladenusi will take. And they nab a second goal at Tallaght Stadium. Rovers managed to deal with that particular long throw. Gaffney, the man from Tuam, does really well to offload it. Kerry bodies behind the ball. Aladenusi happy to let the ball run out of play. And it will be the throw in for Kerry FC. The job that Colin Healy has done, you know, despite today's result. I know you don't want to patronise Kerry FC because 5-1 is 5-1, but to get to a cup semi-final, that's some achievement.
Absolutely, and the manner of how they got there as well. It's not just the Sligo game, but also the Athlone game coming from the brink as well, with a last-minute goal in normal time. And then the Mount Hawk miracle, what they're calling it, I suppose. 3-0 down to come back and win 4-3 in extra time. It's even their league form, Adrian. Like Dundalk are doing really well at the top end of the division. They drew away 3-0 with them earlier on, back in August. They're a really good side. And certainly growing.
Yeah, and it's going to take time. The club is only 3 years in existence. And so many people involved. You were chatting to your old teammate Billy Dennehy before kick-off as well. Billy, who of course played for Shamrock Rovers, but very much the driving force behind Kerry FC at the start of the whole project.
Yeah, just being sporting director of the club, he oversees everything. And Billy's, like Gareth McGlynn in studio talked about it before, he's just so engrossed in football, loves it, passionate, will give everything for whoever club he plays for. And you can see it's starting to rub off in Kerry.
Adding the fact as well that they brought so many supporters here today, around about 1,200 estimated to have travelled from Kerry for the game. That's big numbers, and even in League of Ireland terms, that's a fair old travelling support.
It's huge numbers, and like we talked about a Sunday evening with school tomorrow, and as we talked about, the Kerry supporters all around us, and the amount of young children that are here tonight, hopefully get the day off school tomorrow.
Well, that was something that Colin Healy was encouraging after their quarter-final exploits, that schools might look kindly on giving their students a day off. I don't think it came to pass though, Colin.
I shouldn't be saying that, sure.
No, not in your profession, no. 5,438 in attendance. So Kerry well represented in that attendance today. Lopez to Sean Kavanagh. Up towards Gaffney, under pressure from McQueen. Sent back by Shawnee McGrath initially, Teenan. Barrett. Trying to skip away from a couple of challenges. Picked up once again by Teen. That's a lovely ball to pick out Sean O'Connell, but Kerry unable to maintain possession. And Shamrock Rovers powering on once again with Gaffney. Off he goes. Green shirts arriving inside the area. Overcooked the ball into the area. What a clever turn that is by Aaron Healy. And now it's the turn of the yellow jerseys to go streaming forward. Healy just ran into too many green roadblocks, and in the end a little rash with the challenge, and the referee Paul McLaughlin will perhaps just have a quiet word here.
No, he's actually given him the yellow card.
So no quiet word, it's a yellow.
Hasn't been that type of game though. It seems to be yellow card after yellow card. I know that incident earlier on with Burke, but as we see this bit of brilliance, Sean Cavendish's just look at dejection as the ball just gets over his head, but great play by Aaron Healy. But yeah, it hasn't been that type of game. It's obviously that incident earlier on with Burke and Adams. Just ever since then, it's just every slight foul, it's drawn a card.
So Adam Matthews just getting a bit of treatment at the moment. So these the big moments for Kerry, winning the penalty, and Joe Adams converting from the spot.
Yeah, brilliant. Great to see the Kerry fans all. And I don't like to see that though, people on their phones watching a football match, but look, we let them away with it.
Well, at the moment, the Kerry FC supporters rising to their feet to acclaim the efforts of their team. Support here today has been absolutely magnificent from Kerry, as we've mentioned. Malley for Shamrock Rovers. And Gary O'Neill from Kerry. Out to Matthews. Pico Lopez. Corey O'Sullivan has support. That's clever from Sean Kavanagh. Ball aimed up towards Noonan. Retrieved here by Brookwell. And back with Dara Foley. Foley, as Gaffney goes across to apply pressure on McQueen. Up towards McGrath. Watts with the layoff. And Gary O'Neill for Lopez. Malley. Noonan unable to gather the ball in. Ball just breaks away from Oran Crow. Once again, Shamrock Rovers have possession back. Malley fizzing it out to Kavanagh.
Kerry head still haven't dropped. They're still fighting. They're still working hard. The typical Colin Healy team. They're not making it easy for Shamrock Rovers to try and get a sixth.
Shamrock Rovers have been the masters. Noonan's layoff. Malley. On by Watts. Opportunity, they're looking for offside, and the flag goes up. And Keane Barrett, one stuff Kerry, is denied. Flag went up straight away.
I think he would have enjoyed that. He did go a little bit too early, Keane. Very eager.
Watts. Conor Manney initially got in the way, but it works out favourably for Shamrock Rovers. O'Neill. Gary O'Neill. Matthews. Shamrock Rovers controlling the ball once again. It's been such a feature of this match. Sullivan, Kavanagh. I guess as well, Conan, it's all about goals. I know we spoke about Sparta Prague and Shamrock Rovers and the team selection as Shamrock Rovers power forward once again with Keane Barrett, but for a manager to win silverware, a double, they're so hard earned. Really, in truth, Stephen Bradley couldn't afford to take any chances with this one, and that was reflected in his team selection on Thursday, as he mentioned.
Oh, absolutely, and he knows what Kerry are capable of, considering what happened down in Mount Hawk Park last month against Sligo. So, and this is really important. It's important for Shamrock Rovers too.
Here's Gaffney. Gaffney clipping the ball into the area. Kerry stand firm, clear their lines only as far as Malley, who picks it up once again. So much to be earned in European football in terms of kudos and indeed financially as well. Fans love silverware.
No, it's like I said, it's the double is the pinnacle in domestic football. Like obviously the treble if the League Cup was still around, but it's just the fact that the FAI Cup and the League are so hard earned. It goes to show that you're the best in the country.
Well, they're raiding forward once again. Kavanagh with the delivery. We'll get your player of the match very shortly. Kavanagh will get a second bite at it here under pressure from Aaron Healy. Worked out towards Pico Lopez. Now Matthews. Shamrock Rovers grab a sixth before the end of the game. Throw in taken, but referee has just whistled up. So this gives us the opportunity to get Conan Burns man of the match. Conan.
Yeah, Michael Noonan is player of the match. There could have been a few others. Obviously, Graham Burke's performance in the first half. Dylan Watts has been outstanding, but I just think Michael Noonan, 2 goals and an assist, led the line really well. Took his goals excellently. The first, a header, the second, going by McQueen like he wasn't there, and just being so composed in front of goal. So he's my player of the match.
So well done to Michael Noonan, who is heading to the cup final. He is Conan Burns' player of the match in the semi-final. 2 goals, bringing his tally for the season to 9 in all competitions. Healy winning it back. Bill Gaffney continuing to work hard. He's like a man possessed at times, trying to get on the ball for Shamrock Rovers. Tian. Free kick awarded. Conor Malley had a hold of him. O'Connell. Slipping one forward here, but cut out by Lopez. And Gary O'Neill is there to tidy up and take control. of proceedings for the hoops. Watts looking for Gaffney. Alan Danusi with some defending to do. Took a bit of a chance there, but manages to deal with it. Cleared downfield towards Keane Brosnan. And again, Pico Lopez takes command of that situation.
That's 20 yards between Keane Brosnan and the rest of his Kerry players. Just needs a bit of communication from the players behind them. When to press, when not to press.
Gaffney on it once again. Matthews. Now Gary O'Neill. Lopez. Well, Shamrock Rovers now push for that 6th goal. Dylan Watts for O'Neill. And the Kerry FC players back in set positions, organised behind the ball. Sullivan. Watts. The Shamrock Rovers continue to dictate. Forward by Gary O'Neill. Noonan. He'd love a hat-trick now, Michael Noonan. Gary O'Neill. No pressure being applied on O'Neill, so he's got time to offload to Pico Lopez. Matthews and O'Neill. Dylan Watts sliding it through. This looks dangerous, and it's swept into the back of the net. And it's Keane Barrett who makes no mistake. Well, not over-exuberant in terms of his celebration. The former Kerry FC player spent time on loan, but he applies the finish, and Shamrock Rovers get their 6th.
Yeah, brilliant play from the player from Kerry and Gary O'Neill to play for the pass the ball to the player that played for Kerry. It's brilliant from Shamrock Rovers right through. And a brilliant finish by Keane Barrett. Gets the connection right. Those type of chances can come off the other leg, but he keeps his eye on the ball.
Well, that's a very special moment for him, for Keane Barrett, 20 years of age, steering the ball beyond Foley and into the back of the net. So we're into stoppage time. We're into the 2nd of the 2 additional minutes. But it's been a very slick and professional job, all in all, from Shamrock Rovers, Colin.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like I said, from kick-off, when they just found out that they hadn't won the league, they still came out, put in a real professional performance. And the big players have stepped up, the likes of Burke, Mandroyu, Lopez at the back as well. It's been really good from Shamrock Rovers.
Forward by Lopez. Will they possibly grab a 7th? Well, it's a tough scoreline for Kerry fans to have to take, but to the credit, the Kerry supporters have been with them all the way.
Yeah, and they've all stayed. Not one fan I've seen get up from out of their seats around us. They want to applaud their players off the pitch because they've been absolutely superb.
Well, that is it. Kerry's journey comes to an end. Shamrock Rovers, emphatic winners by 6 goals to 1. Well, Kerry have given us so much.
They've given everything. And that's all you can ask from this team. From Foley in goal, who made some very good saves, right up Dragute up front, who won the penalty. They've been brilliant to a man.
But Shamrock Rovers march on. They're on course for the double. Cork City will have plenty to say about that. But a very slick performance from Michael Noonan, from Shamrock Rovers, from so many of the starting 11 as well. Graham Burke absolutely dazzled during the course of the first half, albeit he might well have seen red for a challenge on Joe Adams. Adams converting for the spot for Kerry, who acquitted themselves very, very well here at Tallaght Stadium. They'll be disappointed with the end scoreline, you'd have to say, Conan.
Yeah, very disappointed with the scoreline and some of the goals that they could have kept out. But it's just the quality that Shamrock Rovers possessed. That first half was absolutely dynamite. Burke and Mandroyu at their best. Noonan simply magnificent leading the line. And then when you have the likes of Cleary, O'Sullivan and Lopez at the back, it's going to be very difficult to create chances, and ultimately that's what happened, and Shamrock Rovers fully deserved their win.
Well, it's going to be a cup final to look forward to. It'll be Shamrock Rovers against Cork City on the 9th of November. The full-time score, Shamrock Rovers 6, Kerry FC 1.
Thank you to Adrian and Conan on commentary for us this evening. So, rampant Shamrock Rovers beaten Kerry 6-1 here at Tallaght Stadium, and they march on to the Aviva Stadium for the Sports Direct FAI Cup final on November 9th. Gareth, on this occasion, just a step too far for Kerry.
Yeah, I think you saw the class in the second half there, been able to take off possibly the two best players. It didn't change much. More possession. Now, there was maybe a 10-minute spell. Daniel Kuti running in behind, getting the penalty. He thought, you just never know, maybe another miracle. But I mean, Shamrock Rovers, and it was funny, the two substitutions didn't work for Kerry. I thought bringing the two substitutions on as soon as they scored would have just kicked them on again, but I don't know, tactically it just didn't work, and they didn't kick on, and Shamrock Rovers just got complete control. And you saw Noonan there, but a class, and great finish by Cian Barrett there at the end.
Yeah, and being able to bring the quality off the bench, as Shamrock Rovers very often do, Stewart is good, and also augurs really well for the future when you see the young players coming in and making a real contribution.
Yeah, Barrett getting his goal as well, and to be honest, they all looked very comfortable, knew their job. I mean, such as the juggernaut that Shamrock Rovers is at the moment, they're just able to maintain that level of quality they have. You know, credit to them as well. I think they've given respect to Kerry here in that they've come out and acknowledged the effort of. You have to look at. I mean, there are 21 places below Shamrock Rovers, second from bottom, and I think there's a huge learning curve for Kerry. And it's a very young team, and to come up and play against the quality of Shamrock Rovers, a lot of those players will go away knowing what it takes to get better.
Okay, the man of the match here at Tallaght Stadium this evening is hoop striker Michael Noonan. He's now with Tony.
Thank you very much indeed, Peter. Yes, and Ciara Murray is here once again. She made the trip up from Cork to present the Player of the Match trophy. Indeed, congratulations to you, Michael. Well done.
Thank you.
And well done to Shamrock Rovers as well. You're through to the FAI Cup final. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, brilliant. These are the games you want to play in as a player. The chance to get to a final, they don't come often, so we just made the most of it and knew we had the levels to go, and we did it.
Talk about your goals in a minute, but maybe the first goal tonight was always going to be the most important one, and you had a big part to play in Graham Burke's goal, the opening goal. Just as Kerry looked like they might be getting a grip.
Yeah, look, we knew they're going to be hard to break down. We respected what they're good at, and we knew we just keep at them, we'll get the goal, and in fairness to Burke, he finished it brilliantly.
Then to your first goal, and you have a lot to thank Dylan Watts for, I suppose, of that super header.
Yeah, just try to get as much contact on it as I can, and luckily the ground had a bit of zip to it and it took the ball with it, so yeah, just delighted with that.
And your second goal, quality finish, that one.
Yeah, me and the gaffer have been working on it in training, in fairness, so that little shift onto the right and then just seeing the keeper's legs, and luckily it went through.
It's such an important game for Shamrock Rovers. The manager has obviously prioritised it. So to start in a game like this, which to the manager was more important than the European game, that must give you huge confidence.
Yeah, we knew the Europe game was an incredible experience for all of us and the fans, but at the start of the year we want to get to a cup final, and this was the focus, and we knew we had the levels to go up, and we did. So credit to the lads and the staff. We knew what we had to do and we did it.
Michael, it's been an extraordinary year for you as well. Scoring in Europe, scoring in Cup semi-finals. Wouldn't it be nice to score in the Aviva in the final?
Yeah, can't wait. And hopefully just keep practicing and hopefully get a chance scoring and hopefully take it.
It's going to be hard to make it into this team though, isn't it?
Yeah, but trusting the gaffer to put the best team out against Cork, because he knows best, so just put his trust in him.
Well done tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, like every one of the Shamrock Rovers squad, he'd love to be in the starting 11 at the Aviva Stadium, but that's a little bit down the road now. But Shamrock Rovers are through to face Cork City. Kerry bow out at the semi-final stage. We'll have more reaction and analysis from this afternoon's semi-final very shortly. Do stay with us. Tony Cascarino Extra Time charts the highs and lows of the former Republic of Ireland striker's 20 years in football. That's tomorrow at 9:35 on RTE1. We'll have the Republic of Ireland's under-21 Euro qualifier against Slovakia from 7 o'clock on RTE2 next Friday. Then, nation holds breath. Our World Cup qualifying hopes hang in the balance. The Republic of Ireland are away to Portugal next Saturday. The big match live here on RTE2 and the player from 7 o'clock. Well, here at Tallaght Stadium, it has finished Shamrock Rovers 6, Kerry FC 1 in our second semi-final of the weekend. We're going to look back at some of the key moments from that second half. And Gareth, it started reasonably okay for Kerry because even a good goalkeeping save can inspire a team. But that's not the way it transpired in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine both managers at half-time. Stephen Bradley would say more of the same. Let's get forward, let's get more balls into the box, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, Noonan's point-blank shot and the keeper saving it. It was an unbelievable save. Good ball, but what about that skill by Watts? And the keeper's just there at the right time. All he can do is guess the right way, and he gets it right. Here's the penalty incident. Listen, we talked about it. So in this goal in the first half, we thought Kerry were being very physical at set pieces, but he's just got the wrong side of him. Once, I think it was Josh Honan got the other side. He's got no choice but to try and grab him and pull him down, and the referee's given. But there was a lot of that going on throughout the game as well.
Lauren Crowe, I think the takeaway is there's an element of naivety a little bit about this. You know, there are ways in that situation that you can be a nuisance and not make it really obvious. I mean, he got himself completely 180s by Honan. Obviously, Honan clever and strong, but when
Are you referring now to the so-called dark arts, which is a term?
Well, yeah, but that's all part of the game. I think that's something that, you know, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Shamrock Rovers certainly have that ability to do it. It's not obvious, you know what I mean? And that's a key part of the game. So there's a little bit of naivety from a young team. Don't make it so obvious, especially when you're in front of the referee, and don't get turned. He's literally facing the referee as Honan's gone that way. So I think that'll be the takeaway for Kerry. I think they would have learned a lot from this. Again, I kind of mentioned it earlier, looking at Shamrock Rovers, the quality, but ultimately, you know, on the bus and the way home, I'm sure the players will be thinking about what they could have done differently and the kind of things they have to do to kind of get themselves to a higher level. Yeah, well, some of the best learned experiences come out of defeats, and there were some good performances out there within the Kerry side, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first of all, let's have a look at I suppose the tiny glimmer of hope they got at one stage when Lopez was penalised. Well, this is, you'd have to feel this is what was in the game plan. Akude down that little right-hand channel. Once he gets himself a little bit ahead of Lopez, he's got that pace and he's got the strength. And, you know, to be able to kind of pin yourself against Lopez and come out with the better there, you have to have that real upper body strength. Penalty, very, very similar to the Sligo game. I'm just wondering why McGinty maybe didn't go to his left, but he dispatches the penalty. And, you know, you can see the reaction from them. They're delighted. There's a little bit of get you back from the first half. But the Akute option, they weren't able to really leverage that as much as they would have liked to have done. There's no doubt about it. If you can get him down that channel, he has that pace, but just didn't happen for them enough, and that's really, it didn't go any further than that.
And if you remember in the quarter final against Sligo, Akude got taken down in that channel as well, and Brosnan got the first one in that channel as well. But I never thought that they got two up front at any stage in the game. They didn't get a chance or an opportunity just because of Shamrock Rovers' dominance, you know.
And what about the players? I mentioned that some did impress on the day. I mean, it was a big occasion for most of these players, probably their biggest game of their careers so far, but some of them did impress, Gareth, didn't they?
Yeah, Ronan Tehan impressed me. Big, strong, athletic, was able to break the lines with running with the ball, but also passes as well. Listen, he was in that midfield against four of the best players in the league, so he was up against it, but he showed signs of quality and especially athleticism. Football's, a lot of it's about running now, and he has got that, and he's got an eye for a pass. So he'll be one to watch. Obviously, Akute, to me, in the quarter final was very, very good. Semi-final, we saw glimpses. Kerry just did not get the ball up to him enough to show a little bit more quality. And Van Baard at right back as well. Yeah. He was up against Josh Honan, international. He did quite well as well.
Yeah, he certainly did. Okay, we're going to go downstairs now because Tony is about to speak with head coach from Shamrock Rovers, Stephen Bradley.
Thanks again, Peter, and congratulations, Stephen. Cup final chance to do the double. The last time Rovers did the double was 1987.
Yeah, we knew that before the game. I was well aware of that, and going back to Thursday, this was always our aim. Make sure we're in the final. Gives ourselves a chance to go and do that double, something that will be remembered forever. We've given ourselves that chance now. We're in the final, and we'll do everything possible to make it happen.
6-1. It looks comprehensive. It was comprehensive. Were you happy with the performance?
Yeah, really happy. Kerry are an extremely honest group. They work extremely hard for each other. and they did that. So we had to be patient at times and wait for the opportunities. But some of the play was really, really good, and really happy that when we had them, we kept going. We experienced that on Thursday night when good teams have you on the ropes, they go for you, and that was really pleasing that we had them and we kept going.
Maybe the opening goal came at an important time because they were beginning to get a little bit of a foothold in the game at that stage.
Like I said, they're extremely honest. I knew they'd be well organised. I knew they'd have a game plan to frustrate us. And it was just about being patient. When it's 0-0, 1-0, they'll always believe and they'll always keep working and they have something to aim for. But we just had to be patient and find the openings, and we did.
Graham Burke appeared to be on it today. Like he was very sharp for his 2 goals.
He's been one of the best in the country all year, Graham. We shouldn't be surprised by his quality. He's playing at a really high level this year. We took him out obviously with the yellow card, but some of his play this year has been top level, and today in the first half he was unplayable.
Talk to me about that incident that resulted in a yellow card, though. He reacted to a tackle. It was probably not, from his own point of view, the best reaction he could have had. The referee had a decision to make, didn't he?
Yeah, but when you're in the heat of the moment, it's easy for us on the sideline to say you shouldn't react. When you're in the heat of it, he's felt someone's come to hurt him. It's human to react, and we know Graham has that in him, but he settles down quickly and gets back in the game, and he did that really well.
Do you have to say to a player, I'm taking you off because I don't want you sent off with a final coming up?
Oh, it's an easy conversation. Graham doesn't want to miss the final. All it takes him for the slip, ball hit his hand, the referee gives a second yellow. Why give the referee that decision to make?
Talk to me about Michael Noonan and his progress and the faith you've shown in him to start him today. He just told us he wants to be playing in the final as well.
Of course he does. That's part of Michael's beauty. He's an elite mentality. He's got an incredibly high ceiling. When you work with him closely, you see that there's still parts that we need to improve. He has the hunger to improve. He has the attitude, and most important, he's got the ability. But he's a pleasure to do it. You say, I've trusted him. He's earned that trust from day one, and how he's gone about his business. And he's a special talent. We need to mind him, keep developing, and hopefully someday he will fulfil that potential and hit that high ceiling.
You didn't officially win the league title today, but the double is very much on. And when you look at the way you were able to rotate, and the likes of Sean Kavanagh coming back into the team, Gary O'Neill coming back into the team and being involved in setting up the goal for Keane Barrett, plenty of competition. That's really healthy.
It is. We've had to work extremely hard throughout the years to get the squad where it is. We've had to sell players. We've had to do well in Europe, and with that, the board have been supportive and allowed us to go and make the squad really, really strong. I like the balance of the group that we have now, and you see that today. The players who came in, the players who came off the bench, they're hungry. They want success. We all want success. We want more, and the double now is a realistic target for us. So let's go and do it. You've got to beat Cork City in the cup final at the Aviva Stadium. That'll be some game now. It will be. They've been excellent. I said that when the draw was made, people are thought it's Pat's Rovers final. I didn't see that. Cork are a good team. They showed that last night. And when you have someone like Shani Maguire in your team, you always have a chance to score on goal. So we know Cork will be an extremely difficult game. They'll bring incredible support. That'll be a tough one, but we'll be ready. We all look forward to it. Thanks so much. Well done tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, it should be a great day out at a packed Viva Stadium on the 9th of November, Shamrock Rovers against Cork City. And during that conversation with Stephen Bradley, Tony was talking about the strength of the bench and the substitutions that were made. And when you look at the players he was able to bring on, I mean, they really are in a very good place, as Stuart was mentioning earlier on.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, the amount of players, the depth that he has. But one thing this year that they've been very good at, and it must be said, the medical team have been exceptional. They've had very, very few injuries. Probably Trevor Clark has had a few knocks throughout the year, hasn't been able to get up and running, but everyone else has been flying fit and consistently. And then if you look back at the kind of hindrance of Europe towards the end of last year, their pre-season wasn't as long and as big as it usually is. Yeah. So to be able to do such a short pre-season, get up and running fairly quick, it didn't hurt them at the beginning of the league. They got off to a decent start, and they've just got stronger and stronger and stronger. It's interesting with Bradley's he said quite regularly that they kind of know where they went wrong last year, yeah, from the standards that I suppose they set themselves. And they've changed the pre-season. The fact that they haven't got injuries, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dundalk team, who might have been back in 2016. Very, very similar. A lot of emphasis on a certain type of conditioning and the perfect kind of balance between rest and playing. Yeah. And you can just see
even the way they play Rovers, there's a control about how they play. There's nobody over-exerting themselves, going into silly things where they get injured. So there's a real discipline there at the moment, and it comes through in how they play and how they kind of control games.
How much of that is down to the development of the manager, or indeed the experience that they've been having in recent years with European football, and now beginning to qualify regularly for the Europa Conference League?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as a player, and Stu will tell you this, you want to be playing games. You don't want to be training on a Friday, training all week and then training on a Friday. Having that game in between, whether it be a cup game, European game, that's how you get your fitness and your sharpness. And then you can then kind of take people in, take people out as you see fit. So they've learned throughout the years, absolutely. And Stephen and his team, the medical team, the background team, everyone has learned, and they're getting stronger and stronger. But it's quite ominous for the rest of the league.
It takes a village, Peter. But it's quite interesting. I just came into my head there as we were having this conversation. I remember it was a couple of years ago, last game of the season down in Cork. A lot of talk of Rovers reducing the budget. There was fractions between Bradley and the board. Big things could have happened there that could have changed that. But I think there's, Stephen himself and maybe a few others kind of stood their ground a little bit and kind of, fought their corner. And I think what's come out of that has been a consistency. The core group was kept together. There was a lot of talk of Gaffney going, a lot of talk of other players going. We just managed to able to ride the storm a little bit, kept the group together, and now they're showing the benefit of that. Yeah,
they've taken some significant steps in terms of development in recent years, that's for sure, and they're now the standard bearers in the League of Ireland, no doubt about that. OK, let's get the thoughts now of the Kerry FC manager, Colin Healy. He's now speaking to Tony.
Thanks again, Peter, and thanks, Colin, for staying with us. It was always going to be a tough game, tough result for you to take, I'm sure, but what will your players learn from today, do you think?
No, it was a tough game, but we are up against a quality side. What the players will take, they'll take learning, and listen, we're playing, the level that the Shamrock Rovers are at is it's an eye opener for our lads. Our lads are still young, they're still learning the game, but it's I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the support. It was a big ask for us, listen, overall we're proud of it. And listen, we'll focus on. We've got a game next weekend, but even the support now tonight was magnificent for us.
It was fantastic, and they were there from first whistle to last, and that will do wonders for football in the Kerry region and for your club now in particular.
It will, yeah, and it's gone from strength to strength, and it's great. But we always want more. Tonight it's a tough one to take, but it's a good learning from our players. But it is, the support we have is magnificent.
It was a point in the game when the first goal came, when you were looking like you were beginning to get a foothold in the game and starting to develop attacks.
It is, yeah. Listen, I mean, obviously they have a lot of possession, and they are the likes of Burke and Mandrew and these players. They're quality players. And we probably didn't track runners. And listen, if you don't do that, you get punished against them. So. It was difficult in the first half. It was.
Burke in particular was on it. It seemed today he was very, very sharp.
But you're not. Are you going to mention the time that he?
I'm just about
absolutely. I mean, it's the tackle for Joe. Yeah, it's okay. It's a yellow card, but you can't put your hands in one of the players like that and get away with it.
I mean, the referee had a big decision to make there, didn't he?
I suppose you don't make decisions like that in Tallaght, do you? No, but it's not. It's you can't be doing that to players. If it was our lads in there, it'd probably be a red card. But I think they've got it wrong in that one.
Do you think that was the turning point in the game?
I don't think it was a turning point, but I just think is that there's a decision there to be made. You can see the reaction of Stephen Bradley by dragging Burke away from him. So, and we've seen it, and he's put his hands on his head twice. That's a red card.
A lot of yellow cards brandished at that point, including to, I think, Chris Colopy as well.
Yeah, but that's it. It's a heated, as I said, absolutely. But you can't be doing things what he did and get away with it. You can't.
At 2-0 at that stage, showing how well you've recovered in games in this cup run so far, the game was still on. If that was a red card, do you think?
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult. As I said, we know the quality that they have is that, but it's if that's in any other game, it's a red card, and we all know it. And let's not kid ourselves here. Is that you cannot be doing that. You can't be doing that. If it was our players did that, it was a big decision. And he never made it.
Today you needed everything to go with you, didn't you? You needed every player to play above himself almost, and you needed decisions like that.
Yeah, we did. Well, listen, I know what we're coming into. I goes, this team, Rovers, is that they're probably the best team in the last 7 or 8 years, and they've reached such high levels, and that's a credit to Stephen Bradley and his players. And we understand what we know, what we were coming into, and I get that, is that obviously you need a small bit of help you know, we didn't get that. But listen, I'm proud of the players. Listen, I thought, you know, they never gave up. They kept going.
And how important to get on the score sheet as well.
No, it is absolutely, and you know, and Dan runs down the side, and listen, we know Joe's got that quality. It's a great, it's a good penalty, but overall we are disappointed, but it's a good learning for our lads.
And do you want to grow from this and get to Premier Division status sooner rather than later?
No, we would, but it's going to take time. It will take time, but as I said, that we've got great support behind the scenes. And we've got a good academy. Things are looking very, very positive for Kerry Football Club.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, a very honest interview there with Colin Healy, and you can, well, his frustration was there to be heard. Really frustrated with the decision. He felt it should have been a red card. You guys felt it should have been a red card. We're going to have a look at the incident once again, just in case anybody at home didn't get an opportunity to see this during the first half. It was 2-0 at this stage, so this is a pivotal decision in the game.
It's massive. You can't. First of all, you can't put your hands on somebody else, right? Then you can't basically press their face into the ground. And then how he gives a yellow card to, I think it was Tehan, who comes in and gives him a shoulder. I mean, Tehan doesn't even raise his hands. So, I mean, that's shocking. How? And he's looking at it, and the linesman's looking at it. They've got a perfect view. His positioning is ideal, but then he's got the wrong decision. Now, it's 2-0 at that stage. That's a red card. Rovers scored just before half-time, and then they scored just after half-time. The game's settled. Do they do that whenever they're down to 10 men? I don't know. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but it would have made a hell of a lot better game.
Stuart, more often than not when we're covering games, cup games this season, as opposed to league games, but we avoid making the referee the centre of attention. But on this occasion, and we've always acknowledged that Paul McLaughlin is a very good referee. He's one of the most lenient referees, lets the game flow. So it's actually surprising that he has made that decision.
Yeah, it is surprising, I have to say. I think it's very clear to all of us that it's you just can't, just to echo what Colin said, you can't put your hands on someone's head like that and expect to stay on the pitch. Stephen Bradley spoke about, you know, he felt he went into doom and he reacted, and that's fine. We all react. We don't react like that. I mean, like, you know, we often seeing players where, you know, you kind of react, you kind of get cold, the scruff of the neck, that kind of thing, and the head-to-head stuff, and it's all a little bit handbags. Yeah. But that's he's gone overboard there, and I think he knows. I think Graham knows he's lucky to still be on the pitch.
Yeah, and at 2-0. If they were up against 10 men, it could have been a very different game from Kerry's point of view. Absolutely.
I mean, as you said, in the second half, they did have a 10-minute spell, 11v11, where they got the penalty, and they got a wee bit of momentum. We know momentum's huge in football. Yeah. So that could have been the catalyst, the sending off, had the referee have done his job. Then they get the goal early on. It's 2-1. You never know what's going to happen. But listen, I think it was going to be an uphill battle no matter what. The quality of Shamrock Rovers probably would have told in the end, but it would have made a very different game.
And I got that from Colin Healy. I felt he was quite honourable in how he went about it. You know, he wasn't using that as an excuse as to why they got beaten. He held his quarter and then waited. You know, you're going to ask me about the incident. So I think that's him himself saying, look, you know, I'm not saying it would have changed the game. It probably wouldn't have changed the game, but an incident as clear as that, it needs to be dealt.
Yeah, and it's a pity. It's just a little bit of a blot on Graham Burke's performance, which in the first half was absolutely excellent. He really was running things and causing Kerry all sorts of trouble. But when you have players like Michael Noonan around who can come and do things very similarly to Graham Burke, I mean, they're blessed with the number of talented players they have.
There's no doubt about it. And heck, he's only 17. I mean, it's crazy. This bit of skill here, the quickness of the feet, how many times he touches the ball, the movement, he's just turned him inside out. And then they have the composure to not hit it with his right foot, to take another touch and then slot it through the keeper's legs. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's got a chance that way. I mean, you can see it here. He's got him inside. He thinks he wants to go on his left foot. He's able to take it on the right-hand side, but then chop it onto his left foot and then put it through his legs. And he's got everything. He's got build-up play. He's got an ability to finish. He can head the ball. I mean, he's a real talent. It's just a matter of how long they can hold on for him, because I'm sure there's lots of suitors out there that are looking at him.
Did he mention in his interview that himself and the gaffer were working on that sort of that style, that front post stuff, which probably shows that the relationship maybe he has with Stephen Bradley. I mean, Bradley he's backed that kid. Like, you know, I think I could be corrected on this. I think he played him in a European game, either 16 or he'd just gone 17. Showed an awful lot of faith.
Well, he scored, didn't he?
Yeah, amazing. And but imagine what it's like as a young kid to have be at a club like this, to be 17 years of age, and the manager is giving you, putting all his trust in you. I mean, it must be hugely important for the development of anyone at that age, especially at 17.
Yeah, he could have been referring to Gaffney as well if he said Gaffer. We just don't know. But
Maybe,
obviously, Stephen Bradley definitely backs his ability. And then, you know, we have we have 2 Kerry players coming on in the second half to add a little bit more insult to injury for Kerry, and being involved in what was the 6th and final goal for Rovers today.
O'Neill and Barrett. I mean, look, at this stage, Kerry's chasing shadows a little bit. Rovers, as we know, are so good in these situations. They just keep passing, keep probing. I mean, he's put that on a play for Barrett. The difficult enough skill this kind of probably pops up, but it's the pace on the ball across. And again, that Barrett getting himself in the right place, right time, just kind of uses the pace of the ball and guides it into the far post.
Yeah, it's the technique to be able to control the ball. How many times have you seen that? The ball just bounces in front of you and you end up glazing it over the bar, but he's got his knee over it and it's just he's kept the pace on it. It's on a side foot. He could have easily went for the laces and just blasted it over. Composure, brilliant. And he's only 20 as well. Young Barrett. I mean, what a future he has.
At that stage, Peter, like, I mean, you know, it's a difficult watch because you don't, you know, you certainly don't want to see kind of Kerry get a drubbing, but you have to, you know, from Shamrock Rovers' point of view, and I think Bradley would be delighted with the temperament of his team. They just kept playing, kept probing, kept moving the ball. We could actually even hear him sometimes close to the microphone, keep moving the ball. And I would imagine, from a manager's point of view, in a situation like this, especially when it goes 4-1, 5-1, your fear is that, you know, the standards drop. When the standards drop, or you take the foot off the pedal, you run the risk of getting injury. That didn't happen. They just maintained a certain level of quality. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get a little bit more reaction now, and we can go back to Tony.
Thanks again, guys. Yeah, and Corey O'Sullivan from Shamrock Rovers with me. Congratulations, Corey. You're heading to the Aviva on the 9th of November for the FAI Cup final. How does that feel?
It's an amazing feeling. It's a good day to look forward to now. All the hard work's come to a good cup final now, hopefully.
Corey, it's been amazing for you. I mean, you started on Thursday in Prague, starting again today. I mean, you've become one of the established names in the team sheet so early.
Yeah, this season's been big for me. I was established myself well in this team, and it's good for me this year. And we've competed in all competitions, which has been brilliant for me.
What's it like playing alongside Dan Cleary and Pico Lopez?
It's brilliant. They're brilliant help, all 3 of them. League race as well. When playing with them, they're just all unbelievable defenders, and it's good to learn off them.
Have you noticed the difference in playing in Europe? And I mean, obviously it was a tough result, a tough night for you in Prague, but then the difference to coming here today in front of your own fans and making it through to the final?
Yeah, it's brilliant for us to be able to do this, have a game on a big European game on a Thursday, and then a cup semi-final on a Sunday in front of a couple thousand in Tallaght. It's nothing better.
And the game went your way. Was there ever a doubt in your mind?
Yeah, well, we treat every game the same, so we had our game plan coming into the game, and we executed it well, which got us a good win.
Cup final to come, and a double on for Rovers?
Yeah, hopefully so. Good for us.
Would be good for you indeed. Listen, congratulations today, and well done. Thank you
very much. Thank you.
Cheers, Corey. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how beneficial it is for all these younger players, especially with the amount of football Rovers are playing in cup competitions in Europe. I mean, you just can't buy that sort of experience at their age.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, to me, that's why the League Cup should be brought back by the FAI, is to be able to get the academy players a clear pathway and get them game time. Shamrock Rovers have got the luxury to bring them on in a semi-final of and start them. So that's a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old starting a semi-final of an FAI Cup. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's a clear pathway for the academy director, all the coaches, to be able to say, this is what you're aiming for. But that's why the FAI have to bring back the League Cup.
In the absence of the League Cup, how about an All-Ireland Cup? I mean, it's an attractive prospect at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. You see the crowds, you see the appetite. We saw the Shells in Linfield, how successful it was. We need some sort of other competition. And I'm not buying this idea of, we haven't got enough room, there's too many games. Extend the season. Shamrock Rovers are able to do it in Europe. Yeah. They play right up to the start of December. There's no reason why they needed the League Cup back, or, as you say, an All-Ireland competition.
You think clubs both north and south would welcome that, particularly with the surge in support for domestic football down here?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if there wasn't. I know for a fact there'd be interest from the clubs in the League of Ireland. I'd be very shocked there isn't interest from the IFA, but it's interesting that in a time where it's very much in the news that young players especially aren't getting enough game time, you know, and they're not being able to get those hours, and the fact that we only have 2 competitions at the moment, well, if you're not in European football, you'd certainly think that the option to do an All-Ireland competition has to be something on the
certainly
table.
something for the authorities to explore. But before we go, we have to look forward to the final, because in Cork on Friday night, probably Cork City's best overall performance of the season, Gareth. Some superb goals, a wonderful team performance. So they're going to give Shamrock Rovers a game on the day, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you see Jer Nash. I mean, when he first came in, he was just finding his feet. He was in with players just weren't confident. You see there now, Shawnee McGuire, that bit of skill, just to take it round the defender. In fairness to Kravosky, he nearly gets it. But the players are playing with a lot of confidence and freedom. You see Evan McLaughlin there, just on his weaker foot, just blasting it through past the keeper. And you look at the shed end there, the support that they have. They are going to be coming to the Aviva in bucket loads. So it's going to be a well-attended final. And Cork City are not to be. You see that great finish. You see the shed going crazy. That's what they want back in the. It looks as if they're going to go to the first division. I would imagine under Jer Nash and David Myler, they will bounce straight back again, and hopefully they can go with an FAI Cup in the bag.
Yeah, that performance really belied their league position at the moment, Stuart, didn't it? And you know, it looks like they're hitting form at the right time, considering they now have a cup final.
Yeah, I think that it's almost like they've realised. I mean, look, you have to be a little bit critical of their league form. If they can play like that, they need to be doing better in the league. But I think that's a performance that can just change the whole momentum and the trajectory of a team and a football club. There was a lot of talk afterwards about the ownership, and of course Nash and Bulger and some of the players came out and defended that, and maybe that's a little signal to everybody, let this be for a while, because we think we've got something special here. But they play like that in the final. Rovers have got a game in their hands, no doubt about it. I was hugely impressed with just the energy levels, but not the quality as well, and the speed at which they kind of broke forward. So they'll give Rovers a hell of a game if they can play like that, if they can ransack.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. And just confirmation before we leave of the weekend's semi-final results in the Sports Direct FAI Cup. Cork City 3, St Patrick's Athletic 0, and today here at Tallaght Stadium, Shamrock Rovers 6, Kerry FC 1. Okay, my thanks to Gareth and Stuart for their company this evening. So we have our FAI Cup finals for 2025 on Sunday, the 9th of November. Cork City will face Shamrock Rovers, and while both clubs have domestic matters to contend with at opposite ends of the table, the cup final build-up begins right now. See you on the 9th. Bye-bye.
I got songs that I'm in love with. Now I'm selling out shows, playing songs that I wrote for you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Now I'm selling out shows, playing songs that I wrote for you.